Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Hope everyone is doing well. Look, I finally made it on time. It's been a minute since I've been able to make it on time to my live stream, my scheduled live stream. But I hope everybody is having a good weekend. I am so happy today. Finally, we have some very, very nice weather. It's around 85 degrees. Unfortunately, it's not going to stay. We will be dropping back down the next following day. But I hope everyone is having a great Saturday. And let's just talk about the early birds that came in and was here on time, which I always appreciate. Shout out to Bruce. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Oh, he says master detective. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much. Hey, Miss Jalen, how are you? Thank you so much, sis. I appreciate you as always. As always, Joanne, how are you there? Good to see you. Good to see you. I hope everything is well. I hope everything is going good for you. And young Riaz, thank you so much for stopping by. I truly appreciate you. Truly appreciate you. I hope everything is going well for you too. All right, so ladies and gents, I have 3 cases, right? I do have to go to work today, so hopefully I can get through these cases at a good time. So if I'm not talking that much, it's not because I don't have anything to say. It's just I want to cover more of the video so we can stay in the time frame while I'm going to be online. Because these videos that I have are ranging from 45 to 50 minutes. So I want to definitely make sure I can get through all the videos for you. Now, before I even start with these 3 cases, there was a viewer who wanted me to look up the situation that happened in Dominican Republic probably a month ago. It had to do with a 20-year-old Virginian woman. She was of Indian background. She was found missing. She still is missing right now, but they do have someone of a suspect in regards to her missing out there in Dominican Republic. There was another man that was named. I forgot his exact name right now, but he was named because he was the last person to be seen with her when it comes down to the security cameras that was at the hotel that they were staying at. You can actually see him with his arms around her, walking towards like they're going to the pool or whatever location it was going to. And then hours later, he is seen returning back to the hotel by himself, not with the missing lady, but this time it's different. He doesn't have his shirt on. His shirt is being held in his hand, and he's walking around bare chest naked. So there's a possibility that they're saying that this missing woman could have drowned. They're also looking into the simple fact that he was the last person with her, and he doesn't really even understand where her whereabout is. So before I actually cover that case, since that one is still current, they still don't have that much information about what's going on. They do know that the guy had to go to court in the Dominican Republic, but he was returned back to the United States just recently. So when I get more details about that case, I will actually present that to you guys. But until then, I do have 3 other cases that we can go over today. These cases are somewhat old. Some are about a couple months, maybe 8 to 9 months. Another is a year, but I think you enjoy them. Okay. So the first one. Oh, hi, Bridget. How you doing? How you doing? Oh yeah, yes, Bruce. I work overnight, so yeah, it really sucks. But I've been doing it for so many years, so I'm used to it at this time. But Bridget, I hope you're having a great Saturday. All right. So the first case that I have for you guys is, like I said, it's an old one. It has to do with a 57-year-old man named Warren Brown. He was a killer in regards to, I think, maybe a loved one, possibly his wife. And he pretends to act like he's devastated in the interrogation when he hears the news about this loved one. But as we see, when the interrogation plays out, we tend to see who's really involved and what they did. So I wanted to review this one. So just make sure you're hitting the like button while you're coming in, even if you're just coming in to say hi. I know it's Saturday. I know y'all want to enjoy your Saturday. So I just appreciate when you stop by, say hi, hit the like button, hit the dislike button. It is what it is. Share this out. It helps the channel regardless. Okay. So let's pull this up. Hey, oh my God. Hi, Zaman. How you doing? Good to see you again. Good to see you. Oh, hi, Mo Love. How you doing? Beautiful. It's so good to see you, darling. Thank you for stopping by. I truly appreciate it. Truly appreciate it. All right, so let me pull this up for you guys, and then we can get started. Let's see. All right, hold on. There we go. All right, there we go. And is it this one? Yep, here we go. I don't like that setting, so we'll go to this one. All right.
Back in 2019, Warren was arrested after the body of his girlfriend Sophia Solis was found inside the trunk of his Cadillac, covered in stab wounds. Just a week prior to her death, Warren had been arrested for attacking Sophie with a knife, but the next day, she signed an affidavit urging officials not to prosecute Warren because she wanted to have contact with him. Warren was released from jail on bond and told not to go near Sophie. 1 week later, Sophie's body was found.
Okay. Yeah, what year is it?
To 2019.
And who's the president?
Donald Trump.
Okay. What's that?
I don't know what I've done yet.
What do you mean you don't know what you've done?
Obviously, I've done something. I've been arrested.
Well, there were...
I'm sorry, guys. I had to stop in the beginning. So obviously, this seems like a domestic violent case that went into a homicide case, right? This, like I said, this is an old one. You probably might seen it. And if you haven't, this is for other people who have not seen these cases. But it seems like he stabbed her before in a domestic violent case. She, however, had it dropped because she still wanted to have contact with the individual. And then a week later, her body was found. So, of course, he's going to be the number one suspect, right? And it's sad because in this type of situation, like I said before, it's up to the person who is a victim of abuse. And this goes for men and women. It's up to that individual when they are ready to actually walk away, right? So you can tell them everything that they need to do. You can give them good counsel, wisdom, advice, everything. But unless they're ready to leave, they will always try to find a way to go back. They will convince themselves that they can go back because they're still dealing with psychological trauma that makes them believe that they did something wrong or they're without in some way. And that's why they're not getting the results that they want from this individual. So it makes them continue to try harder and harder and harder without them realizing that it's nothing that you can possibly do. This person is doing this because they want to do this and you deserve better. So right now he's about to be interrogated. The guy's asking him why he's here. He's pretending that he doesn't even know why he's here. I'm also wondering why he's in, it looked like a hospital robe. I'm not really sure. It looks like he's in a hospital robe. So I'm wondering why that's happening, but let's hear what else he has to say.
There was the thing, 2 weeks ago, back on the 9th or something, where Sophie and your roommate there was something you were arrested back then, right?
Thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
And you were given a court order not to go back to the house.
Correct.
Yeah. And well, you went back, so you have...
Oh, yeah, Bruce, that's a big deal.
They put out probable cause to arrest you for that, for violation of the court order, or pre-trial release, I think is what it's called. So there's that. What I want to talk to you is about what happened with Sophie.
They're not in their right mind, Bruce.
So, not in that incident.
I didn't cut Sophie that night. She told you guys that I didn't do that to her.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that night. I'm talking about since then.
Sophie suffers from bipolar schizophrenia.
Okay.
And she can't drink, but she insists on drinking and gets very violent.
Right.
She's done lots of crazy things and with lots of people.
Yeah.
Not sex things, just using people and just horrible.
Right. People have demons. It's not a big.
I threw my life away because of Sophie.
How'd you throw your life away?
Because everyone in my company, most of my neighbors, everyone said she's going to destroy you. She's evil. That's all she does.
Okay.
She gets you so up. She can manipulate people so well, controlling, being super wonderful and super sweet, and just completely flip out the other way and come at your eyes with claws. And she'll go from being really wonderful to saying the most horrible things ever. You're not a man. You're a failure. I don't love you. I think of other people when I'm having sex with you. I'm going to put you away in jail, even though you know that you didn't cut me. I'm going to tell them that you did. I'm going to get you put in jail for 20 years. You need to go to prison. You're a fool. All kinds of crazy shit.
When did she tell you that?
A bunch of different times.
Warren doesn't realize that he's already building a strong case against himself by telling the detective that he had motive to kill her.
Any idea where Sophie's at now?
No.
I'm glad that the video essayist pointed that out, because that's what he's doing. He's definitely creating a motive, right? If she was destroying your life, she was destroying the career that you have and everything in that sort. My thing is, you're explaining how she could be a schizophrenic. You're explaining that she has a lot of mental problems, and it doesn't help when she starts to take alcohol and mix it with whatever medication that she's taking for her mental illness. Why do you want to be with that lady? Like, I mean, at this point, if you feel that you can't take it and the things that she's doing is actually destroying your life, then you should have been the one to break up the relationship. However, you weren't the one who tried to break up the relationship. In fact, you're saying all these things that she did, but you're the one who actually stabbed her, right? You stabbed her, and she had to drop the charges. Now, you wouldn't have gotten that unless there was some type of wound or some abuse that they seen that happened to her. So it's not like you didn't do anything to her or she cut herself. You did something to her, right? And then she went and dropped it because she wanted to still have relations with you. Now, I'm not saying that he's lying about her schizophrenia and stuff like that. I can never say that he's lying because he was in a relationship with her. And this might be impertinent information that he knows and that the detectives know. However, he seemed highly, while he's explaining who she is and what she has done in their relationship, he's doing everything to bash this woman, right? Make her seem horrible. You're not sitting there with these detectives for no apparent reason, right? Something had to happen to this lady for you to be sitting there in a hospital gown that they had to speak with you, right? But you're going on trying to really bash and tarnish this woman, say that she's evil and stuff like that. It's not making you look good. And I know you believe that it is, but it really isn't, right? It's not. It's not, because you can't make yourself look like the innocent party. You're not the innocent party, okay? And it's not because things did not happen to you. I'm sure things probably did happen to you, but it's too much stuff that had went on, and now this woman's body is missing. You are not an innocent party in this situation. And in fact, I think that you kind of helped with the fact that she was spiraling out of control because you were spiraling out of control. You were doing things and she was doing things, and now it went to an extreme. That's what I wanted to say about it. But let's go on. Wait, hold on. Oh, here go Bruce. Here go Bruce. Bruce says, how many women have off their husband and boyfriends for physical abuse? Mental abuse over time is just bad. Yeah, I mean, it's the same on all sides, right? And this is why I said when it comes down to abuse is a man and a woman situation, okay? People are being abused. Some are being abused physically, some only get psychologically, some gets emotionally, financially, you name it, right? But it can happen to both individuals. It's not just only a woman thing, and it's not only just a man thing. It's a people thing, obviously, because people abuse people. But let's go on. Let's go on.
Do you know where she is?
I do.
Where is she?
She's in the medical examiner's office.
Why?
She's deceased.
Why?
Well, I don't know that, so I was kind of hoping you'd tell me.
What did I do? Tell me.
I don't know.
Tell me what I did.
I don't know what you did.
How you doing?
What happened?
Good to see you.
Do you know?
I don't remember anything.
That's why we're here talking to you, because, you know, things happen and people have all different reasons for things happening. And I'd just like to know what happened with you and Sophie. It doesn't, I don't doubt you love her, but it sounds like you two had a really volatile relationship. Sounds like you tried to help her. Sounds like she didn't take your lead. I mean, there's a whole gamut of things. Do you know what happened to your hands here?
The detective is referring to the boxer's fracture, located on his right hand. As the name states, this type of fracture is usually caused by punching something hard at a high speed. As soon as the detective points this out, Warren moves his hand out of his line of sight.
Why would you ask me what you did?
Obviously, it must have been me. Who else would hurt her? Who else would hurt her?
I don't know. You tell me.
She didn't have any enemies.
Okay. Would you have hurt her because she was hurting you? You don't seem like a kind of guy who hurts somebody, not to me anyway.
I don't know who I am anymore. I'm not a human anymore. I don't know who I am anymore.
Yeah.
So it kind of seems to me that he's trying to play the role of he went into a fit of rage, or he's dealing with mental issues himself. I think that that's where he's leading with, but he was very conscious of the fact when the detective pointed out the injury on his hand, and now he moved it out of his line of sight. He went from his hands being on the table to now it's under the table, right? So it's weird. It's really weird. And then he's saying, well, who hurt her? Who hurt her? Like, he didn't know that something happened to her. That was the weird part. He acted like he didn't know that something happened to her. He acting like he didn't know that she was in the hospital. I mean, he probably just found out by the detective that she didn't survive her injuries, but you're acting like you didn't know that something happened to her. And then now you want to play it off as if, oh, it obviously it had to be me to hurt her. Like, that is a tactic, right? To try to shame the detective for them to ask questions on whether or not if he possibly did it, because the emotions that he's displaying with the sobbing and all that stuff like that is not cutting it. It's not buying it. So yeah, let's see. Cat's tongue said, could it be the ego makes people violent? Yeah, ego do tend to make people violent too. Yeah, I agree. Oh, okay. I didn't know. That's good to know. Hi, Miss Jalen. I said hi to you earlier. Bruce said, no, you're good. You suck as a man. I think everyone, but when we have sex, I hate you. You disgust me. Take that for years and see where it goes. No, I mean, I get it. Like I said, abuse is abuse, man. Abuse is abuse. So I totally understand what you're talking about. Let's go on.
Remember anything, and I don't think it could kill her.
You're not. There are no tears coming from your eyes.
What?
You're not crying.
Have tears from my eyes?
No, there's no tears in your. I'm sitting here looking at you. There's no tears in your eyes. There's not.
He doesn't even have tears in his eye.
I'm just pointing out the fact here. I'm just trying to ask
no
you.
tears.
You look like you're sad. You look like you're crying, but there's not a single tear coming out of your eye. Okay? There's still no tear on your finger there.
Now him trying to check
The detective calls out Warren for his attempt at crying. Not only are there no tears, but when Warren wipes his eyes and then pretends his fingers are wet, it's obvious that he is trying to show the detective his tears are real, and he just can't see them.
I think
can't believe he did that.
She unleashed some evil on you, and you unleashed some evil back. And
I'm sorry. He really did the most. He really did the most to make it. He's trying to make. He's pushing. It's like he's pushing on his eye drop, his tear drop. Come out, please. That's bad. I'm sorry. Hey, Mary, how are you? Hope you're having a great Sunday. Oh, Saturday. Sorry, I'm getting my days mixed up. The week keep on, colliding together. It's good to see you. And Bruce said, I agree, MJ, leave, remove yourself. Yes, please just remove yourself from the situation. And that goes on both sides. Like, just remove yourself. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you so much, Mary. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. Yes, tearless crocodile tears, cat's tongue. Wow. And he's really trying to force it. He's like, get out there. Come on. Let me see if I can irritate my eye. And a teardrop will come out. Oh, that's so bad. That's so bad. Bridget said, to be active. Ooh. Oh my God. Can't even go to Hollywood with those man, you can't even be in a D-class movie with that acting skills. Yeah, not even a D class. They wouldn't accept you. Absolutely not. No. Oh, thank you so much, Mary. Same to you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Bruce. I appreciate it. Not Oscar worthy. Nope, absolutely not. Let's go on. Let's see what he's going to do now when the tearing down situation didn't work for him.
Evil, and that doesn't equal good, right? I can completely sympathize with you if you're doing something like self-defense or something like that, but it doesn't look like self-defense to me because your neck there, you've got fingernail scratches all down the front of your neck and onto your chest, and the backs of your hands are torn up like you were in a pretty good fist fight. It's been many years since I've fought where I bloodied up my knuckles like that, and I'm a cop. You kind of expect I fight for a living sometimes, but I'm just looking at this here, and I'm just wondering if people tell police officers they don't lie to us so much as they just don't tell us the truth, the whole truth. And I'm just wondering if you're just not telling me the whole truth because you think the truth will make you look worse, when in fact...
I understand, detective, but the truth is going to make him worse, right? It's bad enough that he started bashing this woman initially about how horrible she is and she's eviling and she's a schizo/bipolar individual, right? But then now he can't even explain why he is all scratched up. And again, I'm weird out. Why the hell is he in a hospital gown? Where's this man clothes at? I mean, inquiring minds wants to know, where is this man's clothes at? Where your clothes at, sir? Did you get rid of your clothes? Huh? After you did what you did you get rid of your clothes and ran around the street butt naked and the police had to pick you up for indecent exposure? And then they found your girlfriend's body, and then they just bring you down to the station with a hospital gown. Is that what happened, sir? And then here's the thing, the scratches are recent. You could tell they're recent on his neck, on his chest, on his hands. And then he has a fracture on one of his hands because he hit it really hard. It's like a boxer type of spring. And it's like you have to explain why you look like you've been in a brawl. So sitting there with the fake crying and stuff like that, you have to explain why it looked like you went through a brawl just recently, like very fresh wounds all over you. And when they take, when they go and they take a swab and stuff like that, and they see her DNA on you, you're going to be found out anyway. So honestly, he's just saying, go ahead and just tell the truth, bro. Like, stop with all this crying and stuff like that. Just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. All right. Like, shoot. Let's see. So we have Bruce said, I'm a Gen X and my knuckles look like that on the regular. I mean, but Bruce, you can't put yourself in that category, sir. You are Mr. Handyman. Shout out to Bruce. He has a great channel where he shows how he works on his truck. He works on plumbing. He was fixing the pump, the gas pump on his own truck. He does a great thing. He seems like a very, very good and knowledgeable handyman. So if you get a chance, go to his channel if you like handyman things and fixing things or DIY stuff. Appreciate you, Bruce. And oh my God, Sexy Red, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I truly, truly appreciate you, sis. Thank you so much. She says, Sheba Dog saying good job while raising his thumb up. Oh, thank you so much, Sexy Red. I truly appreciate you. Miss Jalen said he got a brat up by a woman. Yeah. He said he's trying to act crazy. Yeah, he's trying to act crazy. He's trying to lead on that he just had a fit of rage, spare the moment type of situation, or he went crazy within that in that moment. And see, Bruce laughing, of course. Thank you so much, Bruce. I truly appreciate you. That's so much a nice compliment. Richard says, Jalen, the defense attorney creating reasonable. Yeah. Ms. Jalen said he's dressed for the role as a nut job. I agree. I totally agree. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, thank you so much. So much. Yes, go ahead. Thank you for stopping by. Sexy Red. I truly appreciate it. Enjoy work. Be safe, sis. I appreciate you. Bridget, MJ is harassing. No, I'm not. Let's go on. I'm not harassing your client.
In fact, the whole truth may actually make you look a lot more innocent. You know what I'm saying? We have people sitting in here in this room all the time that have killed or maimed or injured other people. Sometimes they're justified. Okay?
Now you're saying I'm a murderer.
No, you kind of told me that you did. You kind of said, what did I do? And I'm just telling you what I'm sitting here across the table looking at.
You told me that she's dead.
Yes.
She's in the coroner's office.
Yes. And you said, what did I do? I didn't say, what did you do? You said, what did I do?
What did I do?
I don't know. The only person who knows what you did is you. That's why we're sitting here. I would like to know what you did, but I don't know.
The detective is able to get Warren talking about the night before Sophie was killed. According to Warren, they were hanging out with another couple when Sophie started acting jealous.
The girls are singing, and Kimmy knows the lyrics. I'm watching Kimmy do the lyrics, and Sophie flipped out, thinking I was looking at Kimmy sexually. Kimmy's a big girl.
Okay.
Just watching her sing, and Sophie went nuts.
Fat girls need love too, right? I mean,
she has a boyfriend.
Oh my God. Not the detective say fat girls need love too. Wait, yes, and that's definitely true. And let's be real, all right? A lot of voluptuous women have the best faces. They really have like doll baby faces. They just be looking like little dolls, and I just be wanting to collect them on like Pokemon sometimes. Their faces are so adorable, really. But not him you saying that, but he tried to use oh, well, she thought I was jealous, but the girl was big. So he's trying to say that his preference is not a woman who is voluptuous or, plus size or whatever not. I just can't believe that he literally he used it. I can't believe he used that though. That was crazy. And the last thing, the detective, that's a big boy right there. That is a big boy right there, okay? It looked like he used to play football back in the day and he gained a couple weight, you know what I'm saying? He looked like a brick house. He gonna look at you crazy talking about and I like my big girls. I like my BBWs. You ain't hurting his feelings. Come on. That was crazy. That had me dying laughing for a moment. Let's go on.
Okay. So she was accusing you of
lusting after.
Okay. All right. So you guys broke into a fight there at their house?
Verbal, yeah.
Okay.
We tried to calm her down. It was time to go to bed because I'm pretty sure that Kimmy had to go to work. Kimmy works second chef for Southwest. Second shift, I can't even talk.
Okay.
That Southwest Airlines.
So you guys went home and you were up all night fighting?
No, she calmed down.
Dancing?
She calmed down. Well, I had marijuana for her because she has to have marijuana to calm down.
Okay.
And she smoked some marijuana and she had White Claw. And I tried to go to sleep. I was exhausted, and she's sitting in bed. Her side of the bed is on the right side, facing the bed, next to the lamp. And she's playing dancing and dancing. Please let me go sleep. If you turn around, you don't love me. Blah blah blah. You have to turn around. Okay, everything's good. It's all right. It's okay.
Did you leave? So trying to think back then to when you were fighting on that Wednesday morning. You guys were fighting. She says, "I'm gonna sleep with Mike." Did she say it like that? I'm gonna sleep with Mike, or what did she say? What exactly did she say? Because if I was going to push her buttons and I was her, I'd say something like, I'm going to fuck Mike's brains out in front of you or something. I wouldn't say I'm going to sleep with him. I'd say something really crude and rude.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
And she said, there's nothing you can do about it. I want to put you in prison.
Uh-huh.
I'll put you away for 20 years for cutting me.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't do it.
That would have pissed me off. God, that would have pissed me off.
The detective decides it's time to call Warren out for his claims of memory loss.
Well, I got to tell you, it's a lot easier to understand her being injured off of the things that you've told me about how she was. Okay? I'm not talking shit about a person that you love, but it doesn't sound like she was a nice person. Okay? I get that.
So are you telling me in a moment of rage I killed her?
I'm asking you. It's possible.
Then why wouldn't I remember that?
Well, I don't know. Unless you're just creating a really good alibi and feed me a line of shit.
What alibi is that?
That you can't remember. I mean, that's convenient. It's very convenient.
I'm the prime suspect.
Like, this dude don't understand. You cannot say that you did not remember what you did that would make you the prime suspect when you literally just told him that you remembered that y'all got in an argument earlier on because y'all went out and she thought that you was potentially looking at a plus size woman who was, I guess, karaoke or something, that she thought you were looking at her in a sexual type of manner, which started an argument. How do you remember that part, but then you don't remember anything after that? It does not make sense. That's not how you forgetting something. That's not how it works. Okay, it doesn't work. Like, you can't go from having all this detail to now it just went complete black. Now, here's the thing. I do know that some people, when they say that they are in a fit of rage, they say that they see black or they see red. They can't see anything else, right? But it's not as common as the way that these people are trying to make it sound when it comes down to these situations, right? It's not common. Normally, someone who is peeking at red or seeing black or zoning out, they have a history where anybody confirmed that they have done that before, right? Even if it haven't been diagnosed by an actual medical professional. People, like their family members, their parents, their co-workers, what you name it, they will all say, hey, listen, we seen this person literally get blacked out, and they said they didn't remember. But if that's not something that you can, build up a history about it, it's going to be hard to believe that you went into a fit of rage, that you didn't know what you did at all, but you remember literally what you did an hour before the incident happened. It just doesn't read truth. It doesn't. And I don't think he believes that. And the way he's even asking, like how he's asking the question back, oh, so I'm a suspect. Oh, what you're saying, what did I want to do? Is like, in a way, he's still trying to guilt trip the detective for them even thinking that he would possibly do that. But you already established from the beginning that you were angry at her. She's Miss Eveline, right? Your family and coworkers and all of them said that she was destroying your life. She apparently lied on you that you cut her, which you didn't cut her. He's making it seem like he just like cut like that. No, you stabbed her, right? You're making it seem like that was a lie, right? But then again, why would you even go back to somebody who lied and said that you stabbed her, got you arrested, and then comes back and say, no, I don't want to press any charges and I want everything dropped because they want to keep contact with you. But then even with that, the judge said that you was not even supposed to be around her anymore. So even when she dropped the charges, the agreement was that you were supposed to stay away from her because the judge obviously seen that this was a toxic relationship. You're both being violent with each other and they wanted y'all to separate. Within a week, she lost her life. That means you didn't even follow what the judge ruling was, that you were supposed to stay away from her after she dropped the charges. So that says a lot, also about your involvement as into why this woman is now with the coroner and not home alive. But let's go on.
Oh, I think you did it. You're the one telling me that. I wouldn't say I think you did it. Just telling you, this is just me. I'd just like to hear it from you.
Would it make it easier for you if I told you whatever you want me to tell you?
No, I don't want you to tell me what I want you to tell you. I want you to tell me the truth. I don't want you to tell me anything that I want to hear. That's not the way this works. Because at the end of the day, I don't care. My job is to put the facts on paper and then send it to my bosses and let them do. That's what my job is. At the end of the day, when I'm done with this,
yes, he did, Bruce.
It makes no difference. It doesn't matter what you tell me. Okay.
Facts speak for the facts.
They do. They do.
You have a wound on my chest, and I get her nails done professionally, so she has long fingernails.
Okay.
So my flesh should be under those fingernails.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree, Mary.
True or false?
True. If she attacked you there, yeah. Okay, well, let me tell you this. So Tuesday night, you go to Kim and Bill's, and Wednesday morning she was supposed to go to shopping with Kim.
Okay.
Kim has never talked to her since then.
Okay.
So the morning after she went home, Kim texted with her, and Kim said, let's go. It's about 8:40 in the morning. Kim said, yeah, and then Kim got a text back from Sophie that said, I'll get ready and be right over. And then Sophie never came back ever again. So that's the morning that you were having the fight with her.
Yes, sir.
That he wasn't there.
Okay.
So around the same time, if you stayed up all night and you're dancing, then she gets a message from the neighbor that says, hey, let's go shopping. And then she's never heard or seen from again after that. But you're telling me it was just you two in the house. Well, that's 2 and 2 equals just you two there, and she hasn't been seen since. So what happened to Sophie?
And you said she's in the county morgue right now.
Yeah, I know what happened to her eventually. I just wanted to know what happened to her that morning that you have conveniently forgotten.
Maybe it's blocked from shock.
Maybe. If you killed her, would it shock you that bad?
You ever kill anybody? I think so, yeah, it would.
I don't know. People kill everybody all the time. I see people all the time sitting in this room in that chair that have killed people, and they haven't forgot it. I got Kim telling me that Sophie was never seen again after you had your argument with her all night long.
Okay.
You're telling me that it was just you and Sophie in the house, and you argued, and she said she was going to sleep with somebody that you don't like, and then she's never seen again. And then you're sitting here with wounds on your hands and your neck, and Sophie's in the morgue.
But I see when the detective's asking you certain questions, even about things that happened a long time ago, your job, what you did, how they've sold, all these types of things, your memory is, this is what I'm picking up on. Your memory's quick, but when it comes to this, is you want to go around it. I think you're there, and I think you know. You know more than I do, okay? And I think you want to, but you're just not sure. And the thing is that he's trying to get to you is, he said it twice. I don't know that I know you heard it, but did you hear it is, this could possibly help you in the long run when it comes to the court system. So me not knowing anything, it's just little things I'm catching. When he asks you certain questions, you pop the answers until he gets to the one. What happened to Sophie? You pause. I think you want to say.
Can you give me 20 minutes before I tell you whatever you want? Just fucking don't send me away yet.
What?
I'm not 20 minutes before I go away.
I can give you 20 minutes, but I don't want you to tell me what you want. What I want.
And this is from an outsider, Mr. Brown.
My name's Warren.
Warren.
Warren asks that he be allowed to have a 20-minute break, and afterwards he will answer whatever questions they have. The detectives know that this is just a way for Warren to have time to come up with more lies, so they deny his request.
Thank God. I'm so glad they did that, because that's a joke. Listen, he's already caught, okay? Like, the same thing that the detective said is the same thing that I said. You cannot have so clear detail about everything else, but then now when it comes down to when supposedly the incident happened, you have no memory or recollection of it. It does not work in that way, right? Because if you have a problem with remembering things, or you have short-term memory loss, you have short-term memory loss on everything, not just this one particular incident. And I found it very disturbing how he tried to use shock can do that to you. Okay, yeah. So why are you thinking about shock? Did you read that up? Did you read about what shock can do to certain people? Blank out certain incidents in their mind because of their trauma is too strong for their psyche, so their mind will actually black it out for them because they can't function, right? Did you look that up? Did you look that up online before you came up in here? Because I just found it so weird that he would go straight to shock. But then for you to be in shock, you had to have done something, right? If you're saying that you don't know what happened and you don't know why you're even here, and trying to pretend that obviously it has to be me because I was her boyfriend or whatever, not that something happened to her. If you're trying to use the insanity plea, you cannot use the shock situation. You don't know if you're in shock. That has to be evaluated, right? If whether or not you saw something that would give you shock, that would put on that trauma. But according to you, you don't even know or don't even remember what you saw or did. So how can it be shock or trauma? It doesn't make any sense. So now he wants 20 minutes so he can garnish up some sort of story, probably going to make himself seem like a victim because he's like the biggest one of the biggest narcissists I have ever seen, right? Coming into this interrogation, he's going to try to make it seem like it was self-defense, or he had to do it and he got scared and he didn't know what to do with the body. He panicked and he did whatever he did. That's why he needs those couple minutes to make it seem believable that he really had no choice to do what he did to his ex-girlfriend. But let's go on. This and it was funny at first, but now it's not funny because he's really trying to play Jedi mind tricks with the detectives, and it's really sickening. Really, it really is.
Out of nowhere, Warren starts talking about the events leading up to Sophie's death.
Okay, we went to sleep Saturday, whatever day it was. Right? Went to sleep. She stayed up all night, and I'm trying to sleep, and she's dancing and bopping around, dancing and bopping around in the bed. I'm trying to, Sophie, calm down. Sophie, calm down. When she got up in the morning and she flipped again, I'm through. You're nothing to me, I don't love you. You're a piece of shit, you're a boy, you're a mess. You're worthless. I tried to feed her, got some meat out for her, and tried to get her to eat something. I don't want to eat. She went to the backyard, she threw up. And she came at me, okay? And I fucking hit her really hard. I went fucking nuts, okay? I just went crazy. I hit her again and again and again.
You're doing good, man. You're doing good.
She's still breathing. I took the knife off the kitchen table where she's eating breakfast. I stabbed her with it.
Where?
Right here.
Just take your time.
And I turned into a machine.
I will spare you all from any more of his fake crying sounds as he tells the story. Warren claims that after killing Sophie, he took her body and put it into his trunk. Afterwards, he decided he wanted to cancel himself, but instead, he went for a walk. Thanks to some concerned neighbors, when he returned, the police were waiting.
I'm not a monster. I lost my fucking mind. Yeah, no, you hear this all the time from people. And if you don't think I'm not crying right now, I'm crying. My soul is crying.
I totally believe you now. Totally believe you. I do. I'm shake on it. I promise you. I believe you. You told me things that I know are true that I didn't tell you. So.
When you said that you hit her, what did you hit her with?
It's in the bag.
What is it called though?
It's called a mace.
Okay.
Sometimes they do things that they wouldn't normally do.
It doesn't matter. Now I'm going to die anyway, so what's the difference? But I'm sorry. I want you to know, because you're a good person. I know you. I can feel it.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. It's not enough. No, this is not who I am. And thank you for this snacks. And thank you for letting me have some time before I go to prison.
We're not.
Hey, Nemesis. What's going on?
Here.
No. Thank you.
Where is the knife now?
On that bucket with the rest of the stuff?
In the bucket?
There's a trash bag.
Yeah.
It has my night coat I was wearing.
Yeah.
My underwear.
Yeah.
A pair of shorts.
Yeah. I mean, how big was the knife?
A boning knife.
So that's like a thin, long, thin blade.
Yeah.
Yeah. There wasn't a knife in the bag.
I wasn't trying to hide it. I put it all together.
Okay. Okay. So if there's a black
Do you need it? Do you need it?
Yeah.
I admitted to you what I fucking did to her.
Yeah, I know. We just like to verify that what you're telling us is the truth.
At this point, why would I lie about anything?
I agree, but I'm gonna ask. So where's her phone?
I put her phone in the microwave and I threw it away. I probably washed the knife and not thinking about it, put it back in the knife rack.
Okay.
Because I put things back.
Yeah.
So anal ran, when I peed in there, I wiped off the sink. That's
Right.
That's fucking crazy, man.
No, that's not crazy. That's just OCD. That's just you put things. Everything has a place. I'm sort of like that. At home,
I'm definitely like that.
I'm told at home I should be more like that. Yeah, I get it. Everything has a place, and I like it to be in its place.
And I know that when you go to my house and do the black light, the blood's going to show up because I didn't use anything that's going to remove blood.
We're already in your house. Yeah.
Was there blood everywhere?
Uh-huh. Without the black light.
You could see it?
You didn't clean it up. But we're looking for it. The normal person would have walked in there and not seen it, but we were looking for it.
Do you really not have moments of no remembering that day, or do you?
Yes.
Okay.
There's lots of shit I don't remember. I'm sorry. You don't normally murder someone you love. Okay.
I'm not. Don't apologize to me. That's. I'm just asking you.
I'm not a monster, but I'm a monster.
You're a monster.
Is it on the news yet?
It's been on the news for days, but.
In the end, Warren would be charged with second-degree murder, and he would quickly accept a plea deal for 27 years in prison. Sophie had a history of antagonizing the men she was with, and Warren was no different. Warren claimed that he had reached his limits with Sophie, and he snapped. What are your thoughts on this case? Please share them in the comments below.
So like I said, if anything that he said was true, she was antagonizing him. She was saying that she was going to go sleep with other guys and all the stuff like that. All that can be possibly true. It still does not give you the right to take someone's life. I understand that you snap, but here's the thing. If you never harmed her when it came down to the cutting and the stabbing, why would you go back to her? Why did you violate the judge order for you to stay away from her, right? You put yourself in that situation. And like I said before, this is not a blaming him, because like I said, people have to decide when they want to be out of an abusive relationship. They got to decide for themselves. But look what happened. Now you did 27 years. This woman that you so quote unquote love is no longer here anymore. And just even hearing about it, you punched her numerous of times. You went and knocked her out. And then you literally went into the kitchen to go get a knife to stab her. So that shows that you actually wanted to unalive this woman. You took time. You had to walk to the kitchen to go get the knife. You had already had beaten her, and she was unconscious enough that she wasn't fighting you back. She wasn't hitting you or anything like that. So, I suggest if you're ever in that situation where you want to put hands on the person that you're with, that's when you really need to leave this situation. And that is that's a rule of thumb for everyone, men and women. If you get to the point where you feel like you have to put all hands on people, or you need the grace of God for making you not snatch the soul out of someone's body, if you're really feeling like that about a significant other or a loved one, then that means that you are not in the right situation, and you need to get out and get out quickly. All right. Get out quickly. Don't ever let it get to this point. Don't ever let it get to this point, because now his life is over. His life is, he's already 57 years old right now. When he did this, he's 57 years old, so life is over at this point. All right, so I have another case for you guys. And just make sure you're hitting the like button while you're coming in. I truly appreciate you. Just to stop by, say hi, or also hit the dislike button, share this out. It all helps the channel and helps put me back in the algorithm, okay? So the next case I have for you is a mysterious case of a YouTuber. This was a YouTuber who vanishes when he went to go search a mysterious cave. And this happened many years ago. And I always find this type of cases very, interesting, because, we as a YouTuber or a content creator, you have people who do vlogging and travel vlogs and stuff like that. So when something happens to a YouTuber and they now are a part of these type of missing cases, or these cases that end up into a homicide, it's very interesting to understand how did we get to that path, because usually with the content creators who do the vlogging, they let their viewers be in their life, right? They're very open about what's going on in their life, their lifestyle, and all the stuff like that. So I always find this very interesting when things like this happen. So let me show this to you guys and let's get started. All right, here we go.
cave that I found, and I didn't have a sidearm when I was here before, and something about that cave just spooked me. Out of all the caves I've ever gone in, this one just made my body vibrate. The closer I got to it, the crazier my body felt, and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna go in there right now, but I'm coming back someday. This is kind of iffy. I'm gonna step on this thing. It's very old, but I'll just show you down inside that hole. It goes way, way, way down in there. Let me see if I can. That goes way down in there. If you fell, that'd be it. You'd be a goner. There's lots of little caves, but they're not the kind of cave I'm looking for. The kind of cave I'm looking for is deep and it's dark. It's shaped just like the letter M. Very, 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 very few people come down here. I always make it back. I've been doing it since I was in my 20s.
The mystery of what exactly happened to Kenny Veach is one that remains to this day. It all started with a comment on YouTube and ended with his mysterious and unexplained disappearance. The nature of his case has led to countless theories, some more outlandish than others. But one main question remains: did Kenny Veach go missing, or is this all an elaborate cover-up? An EWU exclusive interview sheds new light on this confounding case. It all began with a comment in June 2014 on a since-deleted YouTube video titled "Son of an Area 51 Technician." The comment, posted by user Snakebit McGee, alluded to the existence of a cave shaped like a perfect capital M. Snakebit McGee claimed he discovered the cave while on a hike in the Mojave Desert, near Nellis Air Force Base and Area 51. The user described feeling a vibrating sensation while entering the cave, calling it one of the strangest things that ever happened to me. Snakebit McGee's real name was Kenny Lee Veach. The 47-year-old was a hiker and outdoorsman who boasted an impressive record of difficult hikes around Nevada and California. He also occasionally posted on his own YouTube channel.
All right, so Bridget said, MJ, have you reviewed the Andre Clements Miramar High School murder case from Broward County? I don't think I have, so I'm going to look into that. Thank you for writing it there, writing it in the chat. I'll look into that to see if I have, and if I'm not, I'll put that on the list for us to review it. Yes, Area 51. All right, so let me just give y'all a little heads up, okay? The numerous of times that I've been to Nellis Air Force Base, as y'all know, I'm military, I'm Air Force. Please stay away from Area 51. I remember there was this meme, right? It was back in 2018, 2019. A whole people said that they was going to band together like a whole group of 300 people, and they wanted to bombard Area 51. That was the sea was back there. I'm letting y'all know, those security people that's at Area 51 have 100% right to shoot your ass on sight, and they are not going to be held accountable for your death if you go and you try to bum rush Area 51. Do not do it. I have seen people try to do it. They try to get their car as close as possible, and they think they're safe, and they're not. They will shoot out your tires, and they will shoot you. Please don't do it, okay? Stay the hell away from Area 51. There's a reason why you need to stay away from Area 51. Don't chance it, all right? Not only with the people who is guarding it, but whatever the hell is in there, stay your ass away from Area 51. That's just a warning, okay? Now we can go on.
Hi, my name is Kenny.
In his comment on the Son of an Area 51 Technician video, Kenny wrote, "I found a hidden cave. I always enter every cave I find, but as I began to enter this particular cave, my whole body began to vibrate. The closer I got to the cave entrance, the worse the vibrating became. Suddenly, I became very scared and hightailed it out of there." Little did Kenny know, this one comment would not only change the course of his life, but create a legacy lasting to this day. His intriguing comment took off like wildfire, spawning near viral interest in what he termed the M Cave, as well as the user Snakebit McGee himself. Although not a frequent uploader on YouTube, Kenny often commented on other wildlife and hiking accounts about his endeavors. He claimed that he had years of high-level hiking and spelunking under his belt, and often hiked solo. He did eventually end up making a hiking video of his own.
I like going up in stuff like that because that's where I find my skulls, you know, off the beaten path. Not that this is a beaten path. Very, 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 very few people come down here.
In comments on other videos, though, Kenny often embellished his accomplishments. He once wrote, "I've been doing this sort of thing for over 20 years. I go where no one goes, and I never take anyone with me. I hike over mountaintop after mountaintop and sleep on peaks under the stars. Sometimes I have to scale giant cliffs to get myself out of a jam. I'm beat up and tired, and my pack is almost always heavier than when I left. I had to be rescued only one time by a helicopter. I'd blown out my left leg at the top of the mountain, and I only had a cup of water left to get me 20 miles back to my truck. It was also over 100 degrees out, so I have a very good safety record."
I'll put a pack on and hike up to 15 to 20 miles just to get to the mountain, and then I'll climb all the way to the top of the mountain. No matter how I got to get there, I climb and climb and climb, and when I get to the top, I spend the night, no matter how many times I feel like spending the night, however long my water supply lasts, and I come back down the mountain a different way, like sometimes down ravines and cliffs, and I always make it back. I've been doing it since I was in my 20s.
But as fate would have it, Kenny didn't always make it back, and the mysterious M Cave would prove to be a catalyst in his story. Based on his comments, it was clear that Kenny lived for the thrill of adventure. Because of this, many on YouTube were intrigued by the idea that a cave would cause him to feel such a sense of crippling dread that he left it unexplored. Immediately, the M Cave captured the imagination of many hiking fanatics as well as Area 51 theorists due to its alleged location near the military base. However, contrary to these beliefs, Area 51 is located quite far away from the cave. Some people have speculated that the cave was a highly classified hidden Area 51 entrance to a DUMB, or Deep Underground Military Base, which may account for Kenny's sense of dread upon entering and the vibration he claimed he felt. When Kenny's fate later took a turn for the worst, these theories would gain even more traction. While some people online were impressed by Kenny's tall tales and his larger-than-life persona, others thought his claims were far-fetched or exaggerated, and they demanded hard proof to back up his story. Commenters began to provoke Kenny into undertaking another hike to the M Cave. After a lot of online goading, Kenny made an announcement in a comment writing, "I'm going back. I have a very nice video camera. I will film what I saw. Can't say that it'll be interesting. Maybe it's just a strange look."
Kenny, where your friends at, Kenny? Where your friends at, Kenny? If you went into that cave and you didn't feel good, you started to feel sick, you started to feel vibrations, or the energy was weird, I wouldn't have gone back there. And then you was talking about finding skulls and human body parts, like that'll raise like a red flag to you. Like, why is there bodies, body parts there? Why is human bones there, skulls, Why would you go back? Why would you go back? I'm not understanding why he would go back. That's just, yeah. Where's your friends at? Kenny didn't have no friends. Kenny didn't have no friends, and I'm sorry, your subscribers set your ass up. They sure did. They set your ass up. I'm sorry. Let's go on.
Looking cave that has a mountain lion living in it. I'll have my 9mm with me this time just in case. It's a 10-hour hike, no trails, very dangerous terrain. I hope it turns out to be something crazy. That would be so cool. Kenny may have gotten his wish after all. Kenny claimed the M Cave was in the Sheep Mountains, around 40 miles north of Las Vegas and to the south of Area 51. And in October 2014, he embarked on his promised hike to attempt to once again find the M Cave.
Well, here I am on my hike up here in the mountains north of Las Vegas. This is a canyon I just walked up in. Now you can't tell, but my truck is way out there by the mountains at the very, very end of this valley. It's kind of like a big canyon. And I just romp around out here, do some solo hikes, and have some fun. My mission today is to just do a one-day hike. It's about a 10-hour hike. I got to still go over another ridge and then go all the way down a big crevice that's real narrow and gets kind of scary. I'm looking for a cave that I found, and I didn't have a sidearm when I was here before, and something about that cave just spooked me. Out of all the caves I've ever gone in, this one just made my body vibrate. The closer I got to it, the crazier my body felt, and I was like, all right, I'm not going to go in there right now, but I'm coming back someday. On the other side of these mountains, I'll show you in a second, is the bombing range, the Nellis Air Force bombing range. They do a lot of practice stuff out there. And I talked to some people on YouTube, and I told them, hey, I'm coming out here, you know, because they kind of called my hand on it.
This time, Kenny was going to document it for the world.
It's shaped like a big M. It's a big cave that looks just like a gigantic M, and it's about as tall as I am and kind of narrow. And it's stuck on the side of a mountain. So I hope I can find it again. And if I do, I'm going in there. I'm going to put on my light and take my gun out and walk in there, see if I find anything. We'll see.
Though he brought everyone along for the adventure, it didn't go exactly as he'd planned.
There's lots of little caves, but they're not the kind of cave I'm looking for. The kind of cave I'm looking for is deep and it's dark.
Bruce, that's what I'm saying, right? What's going on? I wish I was there to be like, no, Kenny, no! Like, no, Kenny, no! Get your ass away! Go home! Go home! Kenny, stop! What you doing? Like, seriously, throw son at his ass. Like, stop! Jesus! I don't understand this dude. Hey, oh God, not you. What's up? Let's go on.
Dark, and it's shaped like it's shaped just like the letter M. So lots of little caves and stuff along here, and it's about level with the ground, like in an area like this. So I really got to keep my eyes peeled because I don't want to pass it. Well, I'm still hiking. Looks like it's about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and I'm getting worn out. But I've got a lot. I don't know. I think I got about 3 more miles to go. What a hike! Disappointing I didn't find the cave, but I still like to hike.
When he returned on October 17th, he posted his findings on a YouTube video titled M Cave Hike. In a shocking moment of defeat, Kenny admitted that he was unable to find the M Cave. He wrote, "I searched the whole damned canyon. I could not relocate the cave." The failure of his mission resulted in an uproar of criticism from users who were now even more convinced than ever that he was lying or sensationalizing the existence of the cave. But Kenny was not one to give up at the first sign of adversity. His determination never wavering, he began preparing for yet another hike, one even more ambitious than his last. He explained his plan in a comment. "I'm going again this weekend. I'll be hiking solo for 3 days. I plan on covering about 40 miles. I'll cross the same canyon where I found the cave. If I don't find it again, I will just continue hiking over mountain after mountain to the north of the canyon. The M Cave is the only cave I ever feared going inside. I really want to find it again." This time, he even invited his critics to join him, writing, "I dare any of the people that like to run their mouths on here to join me." No one took him up on his offer.
And this is where the plot thickens. You are asking complete strangers that you don't know on the internet, saying, hey, if y'all are just as tough as you think you are, criticizing me, come and join me out here to go look for this cave. You just sent a beacon call to all the serial killers, all the psychopaths, all the people who like to set people up and plot them and stuff like that. You sent a beacon call to all those people outside of the people who you think are just as bold and courageous and adventurous to go into caves and and look at different sites and stuff like that. And that's a problem because you don't know who's gonna, who's gonna answer the call. You don't know. And you put yourself in a situation where you let everybody know where your location is at, where you're going, what time you're going, and what you're going to be doing. And you also let them know that you're by yourself. So now the plot thickens about what actually happened with this man. Outside of me personally believing if he was never found again, I would think that he probably got hurt or injured, or maybe even came across wildlife. But now that they just said that he put out a beacon for random strangers on the internet to meet him out there, I think it's more to the story now. Let's go on.
If anyone had joined Kenny on his hike, his fate might have ended very differently. Hearing his plan, one user left an ominous comment warning him not to return to the M Cave. They wrote, "Don't go in. If you do, you won't get out." Unruffled by vague warnings, almost a month after his MK video on November 10th, 2014, Kenny told his ex-girlfriend, a figure who would come up again later, that he would be camping solo for 2 days in the mountains north of his house. He parked his car in the Jomay Canyon and set off, this time without a video camera to slow him down. He descended into the canyon, just another hike he had done thousands of times before. We spoke to Susan Veach, Kenny's ex-sister-in-law, who had previously been married to Kenny's brother, in an EWU exclusive interview. She shared what happened next. Keep in mind that much of what the interview reveals has not been verified, and that the statements made by Susan Veach only reflect her opinion.
Well, Kenny's birthday is November 20th, and I had gone on Facebook the day before, the 19th, and wished him happy birthday. And I usually, within a day or so, he messaged me back or, replies something, and I didn't hear anything. So I thought, well, that's really weird. So I went on his Facebook page, and there was messages on there from his friends, not his family, his friends, saying he was missing. And I was like, what? What do you mean he's missing? So I messaged one of his friends, and she said, yeah, he went out in the desert and nobody's seen him. He's never come back. And I'm like, oh my God.
Kenny was reported missing on November 17th by his ex-girlfriend, Sharon Pilgrim. Sharon told police that she last saw Kenny at 10 p.m. at a movie theater on the 9th. He texted her a final time at 6 a.m. the next day to say that he was heading out for his hike. However, though he was reported missing on the 17th, it appears that his family was not immediately notified, as they were posting well wishes for Kenny's birthday on the 20th.
And I'll be honest with you, the thoughts going through my mind were, oh my God, did he get hurt? I mean, because he plays with rattlesnakes. I mean, come on, he plays with rattlesnakes. Did he get hurt? Did he, was he being reckless? Did he get hurt? And he lay there in the desert and he ran out of food and water and he died. I didn't want to think that, but that's basically what it came down to is, where is he?
In a video posted on YouTube years later by his ex-girlfriend, Kenny is seen wrangling a live rattlesnake.
Here he is. How long do you say he is? Like about 3 feet long. There's the rattle. Oh yeah.
He's very beautiful.
Very beautiful.
He wasn't aggressive, didn't strike at me once. Very pretty.
Search and rescue volunteers gathered on the 22nd, about 5 days after Kenny was reported missing, and 12 days after he left for his hike. Over 30 Red Rock volunteer searchers combed the mountains that weekend. They found his truck just a few hours after the search began. Then they found their biggest and most confounding clue. Kenny's cell phone was discovered on the first day right next to the mine shaft seen in his MK video.
This is an old mine, and there's a hole here that just goes way down.
The mine is only a 4-hour hike from where Kenny parked his truck.
This is kind of iffy. I'm going to step on this thing. It's very old, but I'll just show you.
Darling, good to see you.
Down inside that hole.
Saturday.
It goes way, way, way down in there. Let me see if I can. That's pretty far. That goes way down in there. If you fell, that'd be it. You'd be a goner.
And still, it's unclear whether Kenny accidentally dropped his phone or if he had deliberately ditched it. Following Kenny's disappearance, Susan Veach reached out to Kenny's daughter, Vicky.
So we're talking now, it's around the 23rd when I found out, November 23rd or 24th. And she said he went hiking and all they found was his cell phone by an abandoned mine. And I'm like, what? As soon as I heard that, I said, oh my God, that's staged. That is so staged. And the reason why I say this, I'm not trying to sound morbid, but here in Nevada, people talk and they say, well, if I ever decide to kill somebody, I'll just throw them down an abandoned mine. No one will ever find their body. And so as soon as I heard that, I go, wait a minute. His phone's by an abandoned mine, but I mean, if he had fallen in an abandoned mine, it would have been in his pocket or in his hand. Not, you don't lay a phone down like, oh, I'm gonna fall. I'm gonna lay my phone down. So as soon as I heard that, I just like, this just sounds so staged. But that's not the Kenny I know. I did not want to believe that. That is not the Kenny I know to do something like that.
His cell phone would be one of the only discoveries indicating Kenny's last verified whereabouts, as the trail would go cold soon after. However, years later, there would be an alleged sighting of Kenny that would spark an entirely new theory about what happened to him. Susan claims that she spoke to the commander of search and rescue.
And he said that they did an extensive search and that basically the tracks stopped at the mine. He said they called their men back in because there was nowhere to go at this point.
The exact timing of when Kenny was reported missing became a contentious issue.
He sent me the police report, and that was the start, because the police report clearly states that she did not report Kenny missing until November 17th at 4:52 p.m., which means the night of, we're going on 8 days at this point because he left on the 10th. So I reached out to search and rescue, and I got the commander, and I said, can I ask you when they started the search? And he said, November 22nd. Well, that's 12 days. A human can only survive without water for 3 days. Even as industrial as Kenny is, he bragged about how little food and water he takes with him. Why would anybody wait 12 days to go look for somebody who maybe has one bottle of water with him? I mean, it blew my mind.
Immediately, numerous theories emerged attempting to explain this sudden disappearance. One suggested that Kenny had stumbled.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that does seem kind of funny and weird, right? To start a search and rescue 12 days, that's not even how search and rescue usually move. We're quite instantaneous, like once we get the word to go blah blah blah, we are out there, we're searching, we're doing our different formats and stuff of how we do search and rescue. So for them to say that it actually started 12 days after he was reported missing, that's kind of weird. And then on top of that, to say that the girlfriend, she didn't report him when he was actually missing. She reported him 3 days later, that's when she reported to say that he was missing. That's kind of weird too. And if he was even in contact with her within the 12 days that he was out there, then you knew that at one point he ran out of water and he ran out of food, because just like his ex-sister-in-law just said, he used to brag about how he can go a good amount of time without a lot of water or food and still, hike and do his stuff like that. So I'm thinking that at one point that girlfriend came out there. That girlfriend was out there probably to give him more water, give him more supply, whatever not. There was some form of contact that he might have had with somebody else while he was out there. And when she said about that cell phone being laid at the top of the mine, that's weird too, because if he would have fell in there, then the cell phone would have been found inside the mine, which you would also probably even found his body or his, at least his bones, right? But his body didn't decompose that quickly to the point where it's just bones, but you would have found something else. Just to have the cell phone just placed there on top of the mine, yeah, it does seem staged to me. I totally agree. I know that's her opinion, but that's my opinion too. So it's just like, yeah, it's sad. It's really sad. Let's see. Dawn said that would be a body recovery, not a rescue mission. Right, exactly. So she's saying that it's search and rescue. Search and rescue happens instantaneously. Body recovery or that type of you getting a mortuary involved, or the mortuary team involved, that can take a couple of days because you might need a certain type of man. How can I put it? You have to have a certain type of manpower to do that, right? And you want to sit up there, you have to tag things, you have to place when you found something, you have to find all different parts and particles and all that stuff like that. You're trying to retrieve it, so that takes time. So yeah, the whole thing sounds very, very weird to me, very weird, but I do believe that somebody did see him. Somebody was there. Somebody met up with him, and you just don't know that part. And then on top of that, if you think about it, if he was supposed to be live streaming the whole entire thing, that wouldn't that mean that his viewers saw him find the cave or go and navigate to go into the cave? And wouldn't they have a video of him going inside the cave and then all of a sudden the camera going black or look like it fell on the floor or something like that? Because I haven't seen anything about them saying that like this was the last video. They're only showing the last video where he's talking about he was on top of the mine and he looked and he had the camera down there to look where the stairs go all the way down there. That's how they're representing it in this video. They're not representing it as in did he actually go inside the mine or did he not? Did he actually find the cave or did he not find the cave? So I think that that's kind of weird. I really do. Let's see. not Mary saying I actually like this lady. Let's add her to. Yes, we are going to add her to the dog collection. Absolutely, yes. Bruce said if you always going hiking and not returning on schedule, 3 days isn't really unbelievable, especially if he does a week or so or being gone in the normal thing. Yeah, exactly. It's not unnormal, but as you know, he can't go that long without food and water. So eventually somebody had to come and apply him food and water. He was already out there 12 days. That means that it had to be the ex-girlfriend or somebody went out there for him to, to replenish whatever food and water that he had. And then they might have left, or did they leave? And then you remember, he set out that beacon to his viewers to say whoever is, calling him a liar, and if they think they're tough, they're a tough guy, come out there and join him. Let's go on.
Stumbled upon a secret tunnel system at Area 51 and was subsequently silenced by the government. While this may sound outlandish, it seems that Kenny himself had been involved in online discussions about Area 51 and extraterrestrial life. He often interacted with an online community called Serious Disclosure, a group studying extraterrestrial life, and his viral comment about the M Cave had been on video titled "Son of an Area 51 Technician." Other, more realistic hypotheses about his fate reason that he probably succumbed to the elements or fell down one of the many mine shafts in the region. A growing minority of others suspected foul play.
So my thought was, well, he went out to the mine, he laid his phone down, because I've had theories of people saying, oh, aliens took him, or he was abducted by the military. So are you going to tell me that the military would go out to the middle of the desert and find him at the only landmark that's out there? I mean, that mine is there and it's a landmark. And that's where his phone is. That phone was meant to be found. Because if Kenny did not want it to be found, he would have just tossed it out in the middle of the desert and went on his merry way. But that's not happened. That phone was meant to be found there. And it was meant to give the impression that he fell down that abandoned mine, which search and rescue dropped a camera down there and there was nothing down there. Hikers have gone down there since. There's nothing down there.
Some of the most prominent theories about what happened to Kenny included his own seemingly cavalier attitude. One Reddit user notes that while the Kenny Veach narrative is compelling, the real outcome is likely very common sense. If you do some background into Kenny, he really tempted fate all the time. He was reckless. He was previously injured on a hike and had to be evacuated by personnel from a remote area. On his last video, the second attempt to find M Cave, he actually stumbles at one point and almost face plants.
So, ow. I tripped. Okay, off again.
He pushed himself to go on long desert walks with little food or water. This is incredibly stupid. The desert is a constant, and that it will kill you if the right ingredients are in place. A YouTube comment describes just how plausible it is that Kenny took a fateful wrong step. As a retired archaeologist who has worked in the Mojave Desert for nearly 30 years, I recorded a number of mining sites and features. The mining shafts and adits and some prospect pits are extremely dangerous to record, and a number of people, including hikers and dirt bikers, have fallen into them. With limited evidence to go off, internet sleuths may have lost interest in Kenny Veach's odd disappearance if it wasn't for a striking new development. Out of nowhere, a shocking comment appeared on a YouTube thread that would add a new layer to this mystery. The comment came from Sharon Pilgrim, who claimed to be Kenny's girlfriend. While her identity was initially doubted, it soon became clear that she was telling the truth. I am the girlfriend that Kenny spoke on in the video. So many are wondering what happened and guessing different things. You are heartfelt about the sadness around what has happened with Kenny. He has not been found, and I feel that he probably will not be found for many, many months, if ever. I want to share what I know and feel about what happened. Sharon wrote about how she and Kenny used to go on daring hikes, but she advised other hikers to bring enough supplies if they wanted to continue to search for Kenny or the M Cave. Then she dropped a bombshell about Kenny's disappearance. Sharon believed that Kenny had never planned on returning at all. I want you to know that I do not think Kenny had an accident. I believe he committed. He battled depression for many years and would not take medication or see a doctor. He quit his job a little more than a year before he disappeared. The search for him was started within a couple days of my call. Over 30 search and rescue team members searched the area at different times on foot. One helicopter flyover was done and there was no trace of Kenny or any of his camping things. They did find his cell phone by the mine shaft in the video. It is my feeling he left it behind so that he could not be tracked from the GPS in it. He also did not take his video camera with him on this solo hike. It was left in his home, so he had no intention of filming anything. Susan had a few more interesting revelations.
As a matter of fact,
all right, so I think that that's quite sus that now his girlfriend comes out after you was the one who initially, I guess, reported him missing, and you wait a couple of days when all these searches went and stuff like that, and y'all haven't found anything but his cell phone, and you write to social media saying that you don't think that this was an accident or an incident or that he's actually truly missing, that he wanted to commit suicide and that he suffered from depression a lot, and that sounds very weird to me, because here's my thing. If you're his girlfriend and you have that information that he suffered from depression or he has been talked about suicide, then wouldn't you, as a loving girlfriend, would, I don't know, try to convince him to, like, maybe we should go to therapy instead of you going hiking in alone in the Mojave Desert? Like, or like, wouldn't you do that? Why would you allow him to go by himself, right? If you knew that he had suicidal thoughts and he wasn't getting help for those suicidal thoughts. And I just find it very, very weird that she would come up and just say, yeah, it's a suicide now. And you don't even seem that concerned, really, that your boyfriend at the time is missing. This is supposed to be your loved one. This is supposed to be the love of your life. But you're going to social media telling everybody that, he listen, I don't know if y'all knew, but he was suicidal and you had all this information. I don't know. I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me. That doesn't sit well with me. It really doesn't. Bruce says, now that's sus. Yeah, I agree. It sounds very sus to me that she would come out and do that and say that. Mary said, maybe this indeed is a self-deletion. I don't know anymore. I don't know. He doesn't, even in the video, he doesn't even seem like he was self-deleting. It seemed like he was on discovery. It seemed like he was on a journey to find himself. And he wanted to be one of those individuals that name will be placed in the Guinness, the world's Guinness book about finding something, you know what I'm saying? And naming something. That's what it seemed like he was doing. So it seemed like he had a lot of life in him, and he was very intrigued about his hiking and doing, and exploring. So it really doesn't read off to me suicide the way that she was saying. And if she's saying that he was depressed, guess what? We all get depressed, right? But there's a difference from actually being diagnosed with suffering from depression and then being depressed when certain things go on in our life, ups and downs. There's a difference to that, Let's see. Bruce says she sure absolute in her story. Yeah, like the way how she said that, it was very like confirming that this is a suicide. This is a suicide. It's nothing else but a suicide. It was just too confirming to me about how do you know it was him committing a suicide? Because if that was the case, if you was the one that was in the video with him prior to this, him going out there for 3 more days by himself, then why would you let him go out there by himself? Usually, if you know someone is suicidal, so anybody who have dealt with someone who was thinking about suicide, the rule of thumb that they teach you is that you don't never leave their sight. You never leave their sight. You always have someone around them. And if you can't be around them, you call on somebody else for them to be around them, just in case, it's called suicide watch. You don't never lose somebody who actually admits that they're going to commit suicide or they're having those type of thoughts. You don't leave them by yourselves, but you left him by himself. That it just does not sit well with me. It doesn't. Marty's Rocket said Kenny didn't leave a home, car, and cash. Yeah, he did. He did. He left all that. He didn't bring no car. He didn't. Well, he had a car, but a car was 4 miles away from where the supposed cave site or the mine was at. Bruce says she would have led with that information, right? Yeah, I don't know. Sophia said, okay, exactly, MJ. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. It seems a little weird to me. I'm just saying. Yeah, she's looking suspect now. Yeah, I just think that for her to even go on social media to make that kind of confirming situation about this is not an incident, this is not an accident, this is a suicide. Chick, how do you know? You wasn't there. So how can you be so confident that it was a suicide? Nobody can be that confident unless him or you find his body. Is Kenny able to move his own body if he committed suicide? I've never seen that before. Have anybody seen that before? Let's see. Mary said Kenny solo hiked as therapy in Kenny's logic. Right, exactly. Marty says hiking is therapy, but it's weird talking about months and years. It's an odd thing to say. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Like the way how she's saying it, you saying months and years that you knew this? Dawn said you can't stop a man that has his mindset on something. Maybe she tried. That is true. I agree. But it's like if you don't leave persons like this by themselves, like honestly. And she went out there with him before because she was helping the video tape for him. So why not do it again? Bruce said she would have shown some concern. He was alone in the desert if she knew he had those problems. Right. Marty said she might have pushed him down a hole, trimmed his all these possibilities, man. Mary said we need a poll. Suicide, aliens, government, girlfriend. I'm going with government for 300, Mary. No, girlfriend for 300, Mary. Bruce, Bruce said Pick's government. Yes, he says Pick's government run by aliens. Yes, that's Bruce. That's definitely Bruce. Marty says, can't they do ground penetration radar large, vast areas now? That if they had his approximate location, last location, they could scan for his body. Yes, but they said that they went down there and they're only going on the basis that where his phone was found, which was at the top of the mine. And going according to his sister-in-law, she thinks it's staged. I think it's staged too. I don't even think that he's nowhere near the mine. I think that they placed the phone on top of the mine to make it seem like that was the location to have everybody look at that direction and not really go and look around the rest of the radius to see if they find any human remains or a body or anything. Nope, I have never seen them shoot. Yeah, exactly. Let's go on. Let's hear what else they have to say.
The cell phone that they found at the mine, they never turned it into an IT guy to investigate. And that's another thing I have a problem with. When Kenny went missing and Sharon reported him missing, they went to Kenny's house and they found the computer screen that says, help me, all over it. Why did they not take his camera, any tech devices that he had, and take them down and analyze them? I mean, were there searches on there? None of that was done. Why? Somebody dropped the ball. They could have taken his camera, they could have taken his laptop, but they didn't.
While Susan is referring to the fact that authorities found "help me" on Kenny's computer, we haven't been able to confirm if this was written on a document or the result of an online search. In her initial police report informing authorities that Kenny had gone missing, Sharon stated that Kenny had told her 3 weeks earlier that he had thoughts about taking his own life and said that he would do it in the mountains where nobody could find him. Sharon said that since Kenny made that comment to her, that she asked him to contact her every 5 days or she would call the police for a welfare check. In a text provided by Susan, Sharon further elaborates on a conversation she had with Kenny, saying that, quote, he was surprised that I did not have my own personal thinking going on in my head about thoughts were such a normal personal internal conversation going on in his head. Susan also provided a text message where Sharon claimed that Kenny was supposed to text her on the 4th day after his hike when he came down the mountain. She states that, when I did not get a text, I am the one that called missing persons. The searches started because of my call. However, it is important to note that Kenny was not reported missing until 7 days after he had gone for his hike. According to Susan, Kenny told family members something of a similar nature to the things Sharon was claiming.
He also told his brother Michael that if he decided to disappear, nobody would find him.
However, Susan doesn't agree with this assumption.
Kenny was the cheerleader. I could even show you on his Facebook page where people were stressed out and he would say, you know what, it's just a momentary thing. Things are going to get better. I'm here for you. That was Kenny. When his dad died, we talked about quite a bit. That was against everything Kenny believed in. We had many discussions about his dad's death.
Internet sleuths dug deeper into Kenny's life to try and better understand his motive. What they soon discovered was that Kenny's life had hit a major rocky patch recently. According to Sharon, and evidenced by his own YouTube content, Kenny had quit his job of 20 years and cashed out on his retirement at the age of 47 to become an inventor. He posted videos to his YouTube channel in which he demonstrated the ingenuity of his prototypes.
Hello everyone at Quirky, my name is Kenny Veach, and I invented the new improved toilet paper roll holder for the household. It works great, and it's my own little invention, and I'm going to show you how it works. First, I'm just going to demonstrate it. When it's perfected and manufactured with more precision tools, it will go right inside the hole, and it locks and holds in there, and there's a lot of ways to improve this, but my mechanism is inside here. Keeps it from coming all the way out, and keeps it on track, so works perfect. The new improved toilet paper roll holder. This is a good one, guys. Hello, my name is Kenny Veach, and I am the inventor of the Glolar Bear, as in glow-in-the-dark polar bear.
Kenny even filmed a video application to the TV reality show Shark Tank in hopes of making a name for himself.
Hello, people of Shark Tank. My name is Kenny Veach, and get ready because I'm going to show you a few things about myself, and I'm going to let you know just what I do, what I am, and how much I enjoy life, and how I go about doing that. I am an artist.
So one thing that I get from Kenny's personality, he might have been going through hard times. Obviously, he wasn't happy at his job of 20 years. He wanted to do something different. Um, and he went into, inventing things. He's a fighter. That's why the suicide thing is not cutting it with me. He's showing signs of a person who is a fighter, right? Even when times is hard, he's going to do what he has to do to figure it out, right? That doesn't scream suicide to me. It doesn't scream all hope is lost for me. He kept on trying and trying and trying and trying. So that's why when the girlfriend said that he was, for months and years contemplating suicide and all the stuff like that, but then for him to go out and branch it out and be innovative and journey around, have a YouTube channel, he's doing so many things of a person that is a fighter who really is the person like, I'm gonna go get my own type of dreams. I'm not gonna sit there and just allow life to just sway me however it wants to sway me. I'm gonna go out there and make it happen. It does not read suicide vibes to me. It doesn't. He has the spirit of a fighter. So let's go on.
I'm an adventurer and I am an inventor, and I take all those three talents and I combine them and I just create.
Despite his infectious enthusiasm and creativity, his ideas had proven to be commercial failures, and he never earned a dime from them. Kenny was in such dire financial straits that he even resorted to selling his house and made a YouTube video about the endeavor titled "Handsome Cowboy Sells Himself with His Home."
I'm putting this house up for sale along with me. I'm offering myself along with the house.
And think about being the owner of this house and having a caretaker like me, an all-around good guy, hard-working, creative inventor.
Kenny apparently wanted to sell the home, but still reside on the property as a live-in caretaker.
My whole life I've worked for corporations and companies, and I've reached a point in my life where I want to do it my way. I want to live my life the way I see fit and not make money for other people. I can still make money for people, but my way, and make money the way I want to make money. And one of those ways is to create beautiful homes just like this and sell them. Now, whether that's going to happen or not, I don't know for sure. How I got this home, I worked a lot of hard jobs all my life, and I saved and saved and saved. And about 7 or 8 years ago, I had enough money in the bank that I wanted to purchase a home.
Hey, Omni.
Because of this, there have been many theories that Kenny chose to take his own life in the desert because he was owing payments on his house. However, Susan Veach has another theory.
People have said, oh, well, he owed money on his house. He was going, no. I contacted the Clark County Recorder's Office just a couple of weeks ago, actually, and I asked him, was there any liens against his property? He said no, up until December of 2015. And Kenny left in 2014. He loved that house. He invested every penny in, to fix it up the way he wanted. He would not just walk away from it unless he thought somewhere along the way he can come back to it, or he had a bigger pot at the end of the rainbow. He would not just walk away and just throw his hands up and I'm done. And there was no lien against it. He didn't owe any, he was just have his house payment. And I contacted a friend of his best friend's wife, and she told me that a week before he left, that Kenny had turned in his resume for her husband's company. They install solar fields. So Kenny had a job lined up. There was no reason for him to walk away from his life.
There was more to this theory as well, which would eventually be revealed along with the shocking alleged sighting of Kenny years later. On a Reddit thread, one user...
So that's interesting too. So he did videos saying, you know, he wanted to put his house up and he was going to be the caretaker of the house because he didn't want to leave the house. He loved the house. And I guess to his viewers, he made it seem like he was really down and out, and he took out his retirement and everything that he had, his savings for his inventions, but they weren't successful in the market. But now having this newfound information saying that his mortgage was up to date, it only got leaned on months after he went missing, right? December of 2015. Remember, he went missing November of 2014. So literally a year later, that's when the house had liens on it, because obviously if he's missing, he can't pay the mortgage, right? So he was up to date and current while he was out there traveling, and he reached out to a new job, you know, so that means he was looking for employment, you know, probably to also fund him to do those hikes and you know, to stay a week away and stuff like that, doing the things that he loved. So I just find it real odd, you know, how he just, like, you know, he has all this going for him, and he's showing all the signs of somebody who's not, you know, who's not going to take, you know, life down. You know what I'm saying? He's just not going to let life happen to him. He's going to do whatever he needs to do to live the life the way he want to. And then to have this girlfriend saying for years that, you know, he's been suffering with this type of depression, and that he's about this was a suicide and not a incident. I just find that weird. It just doesn't match well with his personality. But you know, we do know that some people have split personalities, right? What he could be showing on camera could be completely different than what she saw off camera. That is a possibility. But, you know, I don't know. To me, it's just not sitting well. It's not sitting well. He had a lot to look forward to. And he was so excited about that cave situation. And obviously, it seemed like he was doing very decent on YouTube with his videos, so he was making income there. So it just does not make any sense to me. Why would he want to commit suicide? It doesn't make any sense. He just seemed too much full of life, you know. He really does. I don't know. Let's see. Bruce said, look at all the people who have committed. Chris Carno from South Garden, Chester Bennington from Lincoln Park. They were happy. And yeah, that is true. And that's why I take that into consideration, Bruce. I really do. I take that into consideration. Absolutely. Robin Williams. Yes, Donna. Robin Williams. Yeah, exactly. There's, you know, Keith Ledger, Brittany Murphy. Yeah, you know, these are people who you seem like they had the world at the palm of their hands. They was at the epitome, you know, the epitome of their success in their career, and that didn't stop them from being very unhappy and putting themselves in a position where they lost their life or they committed suicide. So I'm going to definitely take that into consideration. I am going to take that into consideration. Let's see. Marty says, who got the house? Maybe he was willing to sell everything to get a foot in entrepreneurship industry of inventors, but his wife did not want to see her future sold off to support toilet paper holders. Yeah, you know, that's not even, you know, funny thing about it is that wasn't even his wife. That was his girlfriend. And she's the one who brung out the narrative of this being a suicide. Not even the cops, not even the search and rescue, who went 12 days afterwards to go search for this man, said that he committed suicide. As of right now, he is still a missing person. She was the one who hit social media and put the narrative out there that this wasn't an incident or an accident. It was probably a successful suicide attempt. So that's what makes me really concerned, especially since she was the initial person who put out the missing person call, that when he didn't hit back in 7 days. That's the thing. She said that they had an agreement. If he didn't contact her back every 4 days, that she was going to call 911 to find out what's going on with him or get somebody out there. She didn't even call to say that he was missing until 7 days. Just let that sink in, you know? Let's go on.
also expressed their doubts that Kenny had taken his own life, and instead implied something far more sinister had happened. I doubt Kenny took his own life. It makes no sense. Nobody is as happy as they show, but I doubt he was that depressed and would do the same to his family since he had a bad memory of how his father
Brittany
died.
passed away
I
from
doubt that he
overdose.
left the keys and cell phone near the mine intentionally. Those are items we put in our pockets and easily fall, especially when there's a fight or were planted there to divert attention from the real grave. While the internet was sharing various theories, some of Kenny's family members began commenting. A user claiming to be Kenny's nephew David wrote, "My uncle Kenny Veach was one of the best people to be around. Practically everything in his house he found, made, worked his ass off
Brittany
for him.
Murphy,
He
Bruce,
disappeared
was an
doing what he
actress.
loved." Among those writing about Kenny was Sharon. After her initial comment following Kenny's disappearance, Sharon uploaded a few clips of her own onto her own YouTube channel. One of her videos is a montage commemorating her time spent with Kenny over the years.
You got your rattlesnake again.
Rattlesnake. That's
your
the second
second.
snake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is,
What was
the first one wasn't poisonous.
What was the first one? Do you think it was? What kind?
It was a racer of some sort, very beautiful.
So he's got 12 rattles, and he's about 3 feet long, and a big head.
Yep.
As for the M Cave, it also became a thing of legend. The Red Rock Search and Rescue even mentioned the cave as part of their search efforts, as well as other areas Kenny hiked. However, they never discovered the cave's location. In the years following Kenny's disappearance, dozens of copycat hikers set out either to search for clues about what happened to him or to continue Kenny's mission to find the elusive and mythical M Cave.
It's shaped like a big M. It's a big cave that looks just like a gigantic M, and it's about as tall as I am and kind of narrow, and it's stuck on the side of a mountain.
So far, despite many claims, no one has found the exact cave that Kenny described. Though amateur investigators' devotion to the cause hasn't stalled, their experiences have only added to the pile of rampant speculation. More questions have been posed than any answers have ever been found. Once again, Susan Veach has an entirely different theory regarding the cave.
Okay, this is where I have a problem with the M cave. According to Kenny, he was hiking and he went into this cave and he got this vibration and this resonance, and it scared him so bad that his words, hightailed it out of there, and he was going to go get a gun. Well, first of all, I know Kenny, and Sharon herself will tell you that Kenny takes his camera everywhere with him. No, nowhere is there a picture of the M cave or a video of the M cave. Now, okay, I understand he was scared, but there are hikers who have been stopped by mountain lions, and they have the forethought to pull out their cell phone and record it, because if they come up missing and all they find is some bloody clothes, they can look at their phone and say, "Oh my gosh, he was attacked by a mountain lion." This rock formation was not following Kenny. There's no reason why he couldn't take a picture of it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be freaked out like I was last time. Who knows? There might have been a mountain lion in there, and it was just my sixth sense talking to me. So, I'll catch you later. Talk to you in a minute. Bye.
So he gave vague descriptions. Oh, well, I hike here, and I at 9,000 here, and I did 40 miles here, and he didn't want anybody to find it because it's not there. I think he did it for attention. I'll be honest with you, I don't think even now he has any idea what kind of massive amount of people are searching for him. The amount of people that are putting YouTube videos, I don't think he even expected that.
While most of the new findings regarding this case are sensational at best, one new piece of evidence is by far the most compelling. It supports the possibility, perhaps the craziest possibility of all, that Kenny was still alive and had faked his own death. July 15, 2018, a Las Vegas spiritual healing center called the Enchanted Forest Reiki Center was broken into. In black and white footage, a male is seen entering the store, walking quickly to go behind the counter and grabbing an iPad. It almost looks as if the intruder knew exactly where to find it. Many who watched the footage claim to see a resemblance between the intruder and Kenny. Susan Veach weighed in on this development.
So I'm sitting in bed and I'm watching this, and all of a sudden the guy comes to the window, and I mean instantly, I was like, oh my God, that's Kenny. My heart fell out of my chest. I swear I broke out in a sweat.
This break-in would probably have gone under the radar if the store hadn't been owned by Debbie Veach, Kenny's sister.
You see him grab his leg, and Kenny had hurt his knee and on the mountain and had to be rescued by helicopter. And Kenny had a bad knee, and the guy does reach for his leg.
But why would Kenny fake his own death and vanish? One theory that has been put forth online, and one that Susan supports, is that he had some sort of life insurance policy.
I can't think of any other reason why he would disappear.
I decided about a year ago that I was going to kind of strike out on my own and go live the life I wanted to live and do the things I wanted to do. My life's kind of an open book. It's just waiting for me to write the pages.
Even his sister, when I called her, she said, my family and life insurance.
While it hasn't been confirmed if Kenny had another life insurance policy, Susan had one more theory. She claims that Kenny's father took his own life, so his death in 1994 was never reported to Social Insurance, and his retirement benefits with the place where he'd worked had no record of his death until 2022. Because of this, Susan suspects there's a chance that if Kenny is still alive, that he may have been living under his father's name.
I've known Kenny since he was 18. It absolutely is Kenny. There is no doubt in my mind. But for people to say, oh, I was emotional or delusional, no. And let me tell you, nobody I know wants that to be Kenny. Nobody. It would be so much easier to think that he was doing what he loved. He got hurt.
You know, that makes a lot of sense. It could be a possibility that he did fake his death. Just thinking about it now, right? He faked his death. Him and his girlfriend decided to fake his death. Do the whole search thing. He made sure that he was not even in sight. He probably was in a whole different state, right? And then when he needed supplies and stuff like that, he ran back to his sister's store, tried to, broke in, got some stuff. And yeah, he probably wanted the insurance policy. That's a possibility. And it will also make sense as into why, his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend at that time went to social media and put out the whole, this is a suicide if he faked his death. That is a serious possibility. And if he did do that, that's some horrible, horrible shit, man. That's so wicked. That is so wicked to collect on life insurance. That's bad. I hope that that's not the case. I really do. But it's, oh boy, it's starting to look like that, isn't it?
And he died. I know that sounds awful, but it's easier to think that than to think that he deliberately did this, and he's put his family and his daughter through we're going on 9 years now, 10 years of torment. That's cruel. I mean, it's easier to think he's dead. They've all backpedaled because nobody wants to go to the cops and say that's him. He told them he was going to disappear. He must have had a plan. They don't want him to go to jail. They don't want him to go to prison. I mean, it's not the Kenny that we know. The Kenny we know would not do that, but that doesn't change the fact that it is him. It's him in the CCTV footage.
However, this intriguing CCTV footage has never been officially named as showing Kenny. Still, Susan shared more about what she believes happened with the investigation into the break-in and the theft of the iPad.
When I contacted the secret witness, I asked him, well, did anybody turn in the other footage from the other cameras? No. What about fingerprints? No. The detective said that because they told him it was a high traffic area, that there would be too many fingerprints. And I'm like, yeah, but how many customers do you have go behind the counter and, reach around the modem? I mean, and how many customers are probably hanging onto the windowsill to pull himself out? Why did they not just for fingerprints?
As far as Kenny's house is concerned, Susan had some interesting information that lends to the idea that perhaps there was something more going on with Kenny's disappearance.
His house mortgage, a lien was never put on that until the end of 2017. It did not. They did not start foreclosure process until November, or I think it was November or December of 2017. I just find it hard to believe that a nice house like Kenny had, that they would let it sit for 3 years with no payment before they start foreclosure. Somebody was making this payments on his house. They had to be there. There's no logical explanation for why that house did not foreclose sooner.
Given that Susan believes that Kenny may still be alive, we asked her what she would say to him if he was watching.
Kenny, I love you, but I swear I'd thump you on the head if I could find you right now. You got yourself in quite a pickle. You really did. I don't think you yourself had any idea the scope of what your disappearance has done. I mean, I don't think you even knew. But you know what? You can always come home. You can always come home.
We asked Susan about the current official status of Kenny's case.
So I reached out to the detective in missing persons, and he said, due to budget restraints, they are no longer searching for Kenny. Here's where I have a problem. From November 10th of 2000, well, November 22nd of 2014 until November 21st of 2021, they were searching for him, and now they're not. What changed? The local news did a program on our search and rescue, talking about how they are actively pursuing cold cases, and Kenny's was mentioned. That was 2019, but now they're not. Now they're no longer searching.
Despite these many intriguing theories and new developments, this bizarre case remains unsolved, even to this very day, a decade later.
What have they found? In 9 years, nothing. They have found nothing. Not even a shoe. Not a backpack, not a shoe, nothing. They have found nothing.
However, many still hold out hope that one day the truth of what happened to Kenny Veach will finally be revealed.
Thanks for your time. I hope I hear from you.
Yeah, Kenny left. Kenny faked his death, and he's living his best life under a whole new identity. And he, whatever money he got from it, Kenny gone. Yeah. Now I don't even go. I believe that he faked his death. I think that he was still alive. I do. Now after that, like at first I was harping on that, the girlfriend had something to do with it, because it was just weird how she came out with this whole suicide thing via social media. She probably helped them. And everything else, she's just gonna stay quiet because she didn't want to be involved or included in that. And he probably gave her some money. But yeah, Kenny out there, and what is it, like everybody, Bruce and all of them talk about, he's out there in Margaritaville living his best life, drinking all the margaritas. Kenny gone. Kenny gone. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna show y'all the biggest magic trick in life. I'm here and now I'm not. For real. Wow. Izzy Sophia said, yeah, he was right. They wouldn't find him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they wouldn't find him because he gone. He gone. All right. So that was a very interesting one. I never seen that case before. But dad, Kenny, like the things that people do. I mean, I'm hoping that he's living his best life. I really do. I'm hoping that he's definitely living his best life, and he didn't actually get harm or anything else, something happened to him. If anything, that would be a better ending of the story if he was just able to fake his own death and disappear into the sunset. I would prefer that than for him to actually have lost his life and be out there in the caves by himself, alone, scared, hungry, and all that stuff like that. Like, that wouldn't sit well with me regardless. But all right, so I have one more case for you guys, and if you can do me this favor, just make sure you're hitting the like button, just if you're stopping by to say hi. I know it's Saturday, and I want to get y'all good folks out there to enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And make sure you share this out to anybody who might be interested in these type of videos and chatting about these type of cases. Truly appreciate it. It helps the channel. So the last case that I have for you is the case of Michael Rafferty. It's an old case, and I thought that we should look at it because it seemed very interesting. And yeah, let's look at this and let's talk about what Michael Rafferty. If you do know about Michael Rafferty, let me know in the chat if you heard about this case. If not, we're going to review it together, okay? So here we go.
At exactly 3:25 p.m. on April 8th of 2009, the dismissal bell rang at Oliver Stevens School in Woodstock, Ontario, and hundreds of grade schoolers were seen leaving the premises. Yet one 8-year-old was captured on surveillance leaving 2 minutes later than the rest, as she had to run back inside to get her mother's butterfly earrings that were left on her desk. Her name was Tori Stafford, and on that Wednesday afternoon, she never returned home. She was reported missing by her grandmother at exactly 6:04 p.m., and a missing persons investigation was launched immediately. Roughly 7 hours later, surveillance footage from a local high school was discovered, capturing what police say was the missing child, walking side by side an unidentified woman. Tori did not appear to be struggling in the video, and the woman was described as between 19 to 25 years of age, white, 5'2", and about 125 pounds with a black ponytail. The local police made a public appeal for the woman in the video to come forward, and Tori's grandparents offered a $10,000 reward for her return. A Facebook group dedicated to finding her gained over 20,000 followers in under 24 hours. On April 12th, 4 days after her disappearance, hundreds gather in Woodstock at 8 p.m. to hold a vigil for Tori, and her mother makes a tearful televised appeal for the return of her missing daughter. Over the following week, Tori's parents are interviewed by investigators, and each of them pass a polygraph test. Police call off ground searches 6 days after the child's disappearance after finding no clues nor leads. The day after, America's Most Wanted features Tori's case as its top story. On April 17th, the Ontario Provincial Police take the lead in the investigation, and the ground searches recommence. The case was then officially classed as an abduction, not just a missing person. They step up a media campaign by releasing a composite sketch of the woman in the video, and then circulate the image on social media and local news outlets. On May 19th, police attain information that the woman is 18-year-old Terry Lynn McClintock, who is already in custody for breaching a probation order for a previous drug violation. She was transferred to the Ontario Police Headquarters and interviewed at roughly 5:30 p.m. by Detective Sergeant Jim Smith. She initially denied being the woman in the video and claimed to know nothing about the missing girl, but roughly 45 minutes into the interrogation, she breaks.
I think it goes right back to what you've said a few times. You didn't want to see it, okay? But that doesn't change the fact that you saw it, okay? And that's what you need to be truthful about. And I know it's hard to talk about. I know it's even harder to talk about than the sex part of it, okay? But you saw it, okay? You know you saw it. And we need to talk about that.
When I seen Mike with Tori on his lap, like I turned my head because I didn't want to see it. I could hear her calling my name.
Okay, so tell me what happened.
She describes in disturbing detail the abduction and killing of Tori Stafford, stating that she lured the girl into a secluded parking space with the promise of showing her a puppy. She was then forced into the back seat of a vehicle that immediately drove away. In the driver's seat was 28-year-old Michael Rafferty, who then drove to a secluded area about 100 miles north of Woodstock. He then proceeded to sexually assault and then murder the 8-year-old, with the fatal injuries being 4 strikes to the head with a claw hammer. McClintock drew a rough sketch of the area.
How can you sit with yourself as a woman to lure an 8-year-old girl for a man, know that he has no good intentions for her? And I don't know, how can you just sit with yourself as a woman to do that? And you sit up here and you crying and all that stuff like that, acting like you're remorseful. You're not remorseful. You purposely lured that girl. You said that you had a puppy, and little kids love puppies. My son loved puppies when he was a kid, and they go, "Ooh, puppy, dog." They love pets. And you lured the little girl for this man. You knew what he was about to do. And how can you just sit with yourself and allow that to happen? You said that you seen her sitting on his lap and she was calling your name and you just turned your head and like, I really don't have no respect or remorse for individuals like this. Especially women like this. I really can't. I just can't. There's no way.
where Tori was killed, which eventually led police to discover the girl's remains. She was found with lacerations to her liver and 16 broken ribs, but her eventual cause of death correlated with Terry's testimony, as was confirmed to be the result of repeated blows to the head with a blunt object. At 7:55 p.m. that evening, Michael Rafferty is arrested and informed that he is being charged with kidnapping and first-degree murder. He is read his rights and then brought to the police headquarters for immediate interrogation.
Thanks. Thanks very much. Come on in and grab a chair. That'll unfold, so that's a blanket for you there, okay? And tea, I think they might have only put one sugar in, I think they got it mixed up. And there's a plain donut there for you, I had a cereal bar, but if you get hungry or anything else, just let me know, okay? Do you have any, you haven't eaten since noon? Okay, are you hungry now? I can get you a full meal if you want.
Yes, okay.
Bacon and eggs, or do you want something else?
I'm too sick to talk.
Okay.
This is ridiculous.
That's okay. You can listen. And if you have any questions as we go along, there's no issues there at all, okay?
Okay.
I got a few things I'll talk to you about. As I told you, my name is Chris. My last name is Lone. I understand your name is Michael. Now, do you go by Mike or Michael? What's your preference?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. I'll probably call you Mike. So unless that really offends you, just
Absolutely,
leave it with me.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go over a few
Very
things here
good
today.
little girl.
Okay, Mike, like I say, don't be shy. You'll find I'm pretty relaxed, pretty laid back, because I've dealt with these types of issues before.
The Ontario Provincial Police have a highly trained behavioral sciences unit, and their subdivision of forensic psychiatry is recognized as one of the best in the world. At first, you will see the familiar strategy of rapport development. The investigator will retain a friendly and almost nonchalant disposition throughout the opening phase of the interrogation. The perception of solidarity and respect will make the suspect more likely to cooperate and take things into consideration, while the detective's easygoing disposition will also downplay the severity of the crime, thus making the gravity of admission far less intimidating.
Anytime that you have a question, all right, don't be shy. Now, I have no issues getting you any food there, so if there's something that you want, okay, I'll get you some food. There's no problems. Now, like I say, I get that for you in about 5 minutes. So, but my job is, as I mentioned to you earlier, I'm from what's called the behavioral sciences section, and we're talking about the missing person when Tori Stafford went missing. And I know you were following a little bit in the media, and you'd follow some little bits and pieces that there was behavioral sciences people involved, right? And sometimes they were criminal profilers. There's been other members in there as well. Threat assessment, and that's what one of my roles is as well. In threat assessment, what my job is to determine the risk. Okay, what's the risk of a certain situation? Now, the situation that we're talking about is you're going to find here that there's nothing you're going to tell me to surprise me. Okay, for two reasons. One, I've heard a lot of this stuff before. The second reason is I'm fortunate enough to know what all the case facts are, okay? So what I have to do is assess what I perceive is a threat. So are you going to go out and kill more people after this situation is done, okay? That's what my job is, to assess threat level, all right? I already know you're responsible for one death, okay? So that's what my job is to determine, okay, what's happened here, all right?
Staff Sergeant Chris Loam had been a police officer for over 21 years and was a member of the Behavioral Sciences Unit for the last 17. At the time this interrogation took place, he was the head of the analysis section. This meant he was in charge of criminal profiling, threat assessment, and forensic psychiatry. He indicates that his only purpose is to assess the suspect's threat level, yet this variety of threat assessment is only applied to less severe infractions. With relation to rape and murder, the serious nature of the crime means that the threat level is already assessed long before any form of psychoanalysis takes place. In reality, the investigator's primary purpose is to gain an understanding of the suspect's character and then use this knowledge to try and influence both his reasoning and decision-making.
Yeah, I'm glad that the video essayist said that, because you're already a threat. There's no need to determine whether you're a threat or not. We're talking about a young baby girl being raped and unalived by you. I find you very I find you very dangerous, and I feel that you are a threat to society as well as children, right? So, him saying that, it was only to allude to the guy that make him think that, listen, we just want to know what, like, you know, if you plan on doing this again. Y'all got him in custody. He ain't doing this again. Y'all gonna put the book at him. Okay? You're gonna put the book at him. But y'all want to find out his mindset. Y'all want to know whether or not if you're dealing with someone who is a sociopath or a psychopath. And that's what he's trying to figure out. And it also helps him find out how to approach him in the interrogation of what questions that will get him to admit things, what would trigger him, what would make him go high, make him go low. They're also going to analyze his how he answers, his response, his tone. Is he going to sound monotone? Is he going to get outraged if you say a certain word or a certain phrase? And he going to be like, no, I didn't mean to do that, whatever not. That's going to let him know. That's going to let him know whether or not if he's on the borderline of psychopath or is he on the borderline of sociopath. Because sociopaths, their emotions go from high highs to low lows. Psychopaths is mundane. But let's go on.
Before we go through all that, though, like, people just don't wake up one day and decide this is going to happen, and I know that. All right, so there's a lot of ideas that go in people's heads
I will,
at the
Bruce.
Time.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you.
If I go through, and I go through your history and your background, there's not a whole hell of a lot you've been involved in life, is there? Right? You're completely under the radar. Anyways, I got to go through a few things with you here. All right, obviously you're upset by what's going on. You're here for a reason. And right back at the beginning, the investigators and the case manager, the officer in charge, said that I'm going to follow the evidence and go where the evidence leads me. Okay? And now you're here because the evidence has led the investigators to you. All right? And then I get involved after that. There's been people that I work with in behavioral sciences that have been here from the outset of the investigation. But really, at this point in time, I mean, when I go in and look at your history, there's very little on there. Like I say, you've flown under the radar. You haven't had any major problems with the police. Okay, but now all of a sudden you're involved in this situation, and it's a serious situation, and it's a scary situation. I'm sure you're.
And another thing that they're trying to establish is there more victims? As you just heard, they looked into his background. He doesn't have things like this in his background. He's been under the radar for a very long time. So that's why I said they're trying to figure out whether or not if he's a sociopath or is he a psychopath. Because a psychopath, or AKA serial killers, they usually do all this without getting caught until the one time that they get caught. So are there other victims? Are there other people who are on the missing person list that they need to start seeing whether or not if they can link you to their murder, right? That's what they need to know. Because you just don't go out of spirit out of the moment, oh, I want to unalive and grape a 8-year-old. You know, that doesn't just come out of wake up one day and say, you know what, I want to do that. That's someone who's either been doing and plotting to do that for a very, very long time. That's that type of behavior. And you got very good at it too. And I want you to also take a notice, right? He not once is he looking at the detective while he's explaining himself and explaining what this interrogation and how it's going to go down and why he's doing it, right? He's looking down. He can't face him. So he's trying to show that he is shameful, guilty for what he did, right? Then he went and put the blanket on him. Now, there could be a possibility that the temperature in the interrogation room is cold, like AC. Obviously, it seemed like it's quite warm because he came in with a short sleeve shirt and shorts. Oh no, he has pants on, but he don't have no shoes on, right? But there's another reason why he could have put that blanket on him. He could have put that blanket on him to cover his hand and his body movement. He could be fidgeting his hands or crossing his arms, and you can't see it because he has the blanket on him. So it also can be identified as a coverage. Just keep that in mind, okay? Let's go on.
You're quite upset and quite concerned about what's going on here, all right? Now, the last one I was involved with like this, I don't know if you're aware of it, was a girl named Holly Jones in Toronto when she went missing. And the guy that had abducted her, his name was Michael Briere. And what he was doing is he was watching on his computer for hours and hours and hours. He was looking at child porn to the point that he decides, I want to go try this. And he goes and he grabs Holly and he does some things to her, and then he realizes, what am I going to do? Okay? And he panics. He doesn't know what to do because she's a witness now. And he says, if I just let her go, she's going to tell on me. So he decides that he's not going to let her go. All right? And all that was from something as simple as watching child pornography for hours on end. These things happen, okay? And we can say it happened close to home. Toronto's not that far from you, okay? These things happen all the time, all right? So what I need to do is sit with you. I already know how. I know the who's, right? Why? I mean, why is up to you, but I can actually probably fill in that blank for you, but that's not what my role here is. If I'm going to assess risk here and see, number one, do you even feel bad about what you've done? That's the first thing I look for. And number two, do I think, okay, he doesn't feel bad, so in turn he's probably going to do this again because he really doesn't care about it the first time it's happened, okay? I'm not at all upset with you. I'm not mad at you. I don't mind sitting here talking with you. You'll know if I don't want to talk to you because I'll just simply leave, right? From reading about you, this to me seems like it's out of character. Now, I could be wrong, right? You may have been planning this for a long period of time, and you may have thoroughly enjoyed this. And if I'm wrong, then you tell me that, all right? But I also know that we all make mistakes, okay? And that's why pencils have erasers, okay? Because we all make mistakes. It's that simple. Spending time with you here, and if I'm wrong, you tell me. But it looks like if you could turn back time, maybe there's a few decisions in life you'd have made it a little bit different, all right? If I could turn.
So right now he's using the ego up approach and tactic. Everyone makes mistakes. We're all human. You know, you just did a bad thing and you probably might feel very guilty about it right now. There's probably some things that's on your heart that's weighing heavy on your heart. He's using this approach with this suspect. Well, obviously they already know that he was the one who did it. But they're using this approach with him because they need to get him this to actually confess. They need an actual confession, right? That seals everything. So it won't be no mistrial or someone saying objection. Where's my objection at? Where's Miss Jalen? Because everybody is their client as her client. Where's Miss Jalen at? But no, this is for you to have a clean, smooth trial or case, and no mishaps or mistrials when you actually get a confession with the person admitting that they did the crime, and also probably even telling in details why they did it or somewhat why they did it. Because remember, when it comes down to a trial, you need means, opportunity, and intent. Once you find those things, those three things, then you usually have a good solid case to win in court. But again, this guy, he does not feel guilty for what he did to that young girl. He's only doing the fake crying due to the fact that he got caught, is all over the news. Obviously, he do probably have he cares about his reputation. That's why he did this stuff on the low, right? And he's been able to not get caught many times before. This is why he also had a setup queen. That's why I call the lady. She's a setup queen to help lure women to him or lure young girls to him, because you know that if you was approached being a grown man, that 8-year-old probably in her home, in her house, they told her, hey, if a grown man try to talk to you or start asking things about you, offering you ice cream or saying I like your pretty shirt and stuff, you know, to run and go tell another adult, or tell a teacher or tell somebody who's around you who's an adult that you can trust, right? But there's not enough conversations of that being told to young girls when it is watching out for older women as well, right? Because one of the main things, if you're more concerned about young girls being snatched up for sex trafficking, child abuse, and all that stuff like that, and unfortunately, that is mostly men that's doing it. But now lately, we are finding out there's a lot of women that is involved with human trafficking, sex trafficking, and child abuse more than ever before. So yeah, keep that in mind. Let's go on.
Turn back time for you, Mike, I would, but it's not that simple, okay? So now you and I have to sit here and face what's happened, okay? I can sit and tell you what happened. I can take you through the day of her disappearance, okay? I mean, I've seen the video, all right? And I know that you didn't do this alone. And but at the end of the day, we got to deal with this situation, okay? Because it's a young girl that we got to talk about. And if you and I don't sit and talk about your side, then people will only think the worst, right? It's human nature, right? You've done it and I've done it. We always think the worst until we know the facts, okay? So that's what you and I need to sit here and work and discuss and work through.
No, they found
Again,
her,
if I'm
Dawn.
wrong,
They
you tell
found
me,
her.
okay? But I really believe
Yeah,
if you could
they
turn
found
back
the
time,
body.
you could deal with this a little bit different, okay? And there may have been a rush, it may have been exciting for a period of time, but then reality sets in. You have to sit and live with the fact of what's happened here, okay? And that's what we're doing here. We have to sit and deal with what's happened. Really, at this point, what you have left is your word and your credibility. And people.
So they found her body. They checked the cameras. They found the sketch of the woman, the last person that was with the little girl, and that's why they was able to bring the woman in. And then she told what she did to help assist this guy to do what he did to that girl. So that's how it played out. But they had already found the little girl's body.
Always think the worst, okay? Until they know the truth. You do it and I do it. It's human nature. So we're all going to think the worst until we know why this is happening in your mind. And again, if it's something where you're like Michael Briere, where you looked at a lot of child porn and then just decided you were going to try it, then that's fine. If it wasn't your idea, then that's fine too. But we can't change what the case facts are. All right? You know deep down that this is your chance to get it off your chest. You're not sitting there the rest of your life saying, I guess I should have said something. All right? I guess I should have got it off my chest and said my side. Because this is your last chance to do it. The fact that you're here and the fact that they've already, they know where the victim is, okay, and they know your steps, this is it. You have to take the steps now to live the rest of your life, okay? This is what you have to do. You and I need to talk about this, okay?
It's always interesting to examine a suspect's demeanor while being interrogated, especially compared to how they most likely were while committing their violation. The suspect here is a quivering mess, acting like a helpless victim, wallowing in his own self-pity while vying for sympathy. Essentially the opposite of how he was while attacking Tori Stafford. It's ironic that the powerless and vulnerable complexion he is trying to portray here is exactly what his victim would have felt at the time she was attacked. The sympathy he is trying to garner for himself is clearly what he lacked for the 8-year-old child he raped and murdered.
So I've got to determine, as part of my job, when all is said and done here, do I think Mike's done? This is it. He's made his mistake. He realizes how wrong the mistake that he made, and he's willing to look past it? Or do I have to sit here and say, all right, my report's going to say very simple, I think this guy's going to reoffend. And that's what our job is. We deal with these types of situations and the reasons why people do this stuff, okay? Like I say, this may have been a thing that you just snapped and did something. That stuff happens. Or it may have been something you planned for many months and got some enjoyment out of the plan.
I didn't do anything.
Well, that's not entirely true either.
That is entirely true.
No.
I didn't do anything.
No, you can try.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he did not. Mr. Shiver, I didn't do anything. What the hell you mean you didn't do anything? You did a lot. A young girl is not here anymore. You raped her and you beat her brutally. You broke her ribs and you bludgeoned her in the head after you did what you did. What the hell you talk about you ain't do anything? What is wrong with these people? Let's see. Alan, hi, how you doing? This is the case of Michael Rafferty. He he raped and he unalived the 8-year-old girl. Yeah, it's the same thing, vibes. That's what he did. He raped and unalived a 8-year-old girl, and he had an accomplice. He had a woman lure the 8-year-old girl to go look at a puppy right outside of where the school area was. She went to go see the puppy. They snatched her up. They took her to some house, whatever not. He violated her. The lady didn't help her. The lady ignored her screams and her cries and everything. And then he bludgeoned her. And This is a cruel, horrible, evil man right here.
Try and cement yourself into that, okay? But at the same time, you're not doing yourself any good by not being truthful here, okay?
The investigator wants to come across as empathetic and understanding, yet still needs to keep the suspect's confidence low. He watches for denials and stops them immediately. Letting the suspect deny his guilt will only increase his morale, thus increase his psychological endurance and constancy for self-preservation. This needs to be stripped away as much as possible, as early as possible.
Because by not being truthful, all you have left is your credibility, Mike. That's all you have left, okay? You're not the only person who's been arrested and charged,
around school property.
And there's no surprises left anymore, okay? It's not even a surprise, it's why this happened.
I'm also not the only innocent person who's ever been arrested and charged.
Well, and that's true. There's been people that have been arrested for things where there's no evidence, but unfortunately in this case there's lots of evidence to determine your role in this crime, okay? The girl who's on the video who walks away with Tori has been identified. And she's been identified as her and Tori being in your car. And the three of you and her and Tori, go to the Guelph area, go to the Home Depot, okay? And the grabbing of Tori, there was a planned event that you were going to grab her. You were going to grab a girl. But this other person was going to do it. And the other person got the girl, put her in your car, all right? And then there's other steps that are taken from there. Okay, there's things that happen at Home Depot. There's things that happen outside at Guelph. And there's things that happen to Tori, all right, before she's gone. And you're involved in that. And you can't mask that. You can't change it, okay?
No.
Because what's happened has happened. I can't turn back the hands of time, and neither can you, okay? There's nothing I can do to turn back the hands of time and say, I wish Mike would have reacted to this situation a little bit differently, okay? There's no doubt in my mind, okay? There's no doubt in my mind that you're involved in the abduction, okay, of Tori. No doubt in my mind at all. I followed the evidence, I've read.
So now he has to move a little bit stern with him to remove this beacon of hope that this guy Michael has, that he's going to get out of it and that some way, somehow he is innocent. Because you even heard it himself. He was like, oh, innocent people go down for things all the time. I didn't do anything to her. I did nothing. He's already, after doing all that crying, all that whimpering and all that stuff in the beginning, acting all shivered like he saw a ghost and stuff like that, drinking the coffee, now is all, oh, I didn't do anything. It wasn't me and all the stuff like that. So he was already looking for sympathy from the detective. And then he went to the approach of, no, I'm saying I'm not the one who did it, or I didn't do anything, or I didn't do that to her. So now the detective, he has to move from the ego up approach a little bit and take away that beacon of hope that Michael thinks that he can manipulate the detectives to make it believe that it was somebody else that was involved and that he wasn't involved the way that they're pinning it on him that he was involved with this little girl. But let's go on.
The file, okay, there's no doubt in my mind. We're past that, okay? And the only concern or the issue that I have is why you did this. What caused you to do this? Was it something you, like I say, is this something you've done before and you've been involved in the death of other people and you enjoyed this? Am I sitting across the desk from Paul Bernardo here? Am I sitting across from someone who's made a mistake, okay? And that's going to be the question that's asked of you, all right? I'll get you a bucket there, just a second. If you got to get sick, pull your boots there. Okay? I've seen it before. You're not going to offend me or bother me. So if you got to be sick, Mike, go right ahead. Okay? I'll get you some paper towels or something. If you feel like you're going to be sick, just grab the, I'll have the bucket there handy for you, okay? Just leave it right there. You and I need to have a discussion. This isn't a.
Also, I want to let you know everything that Michael's doing is all tactic. He's using manipulation tactic. He is trying to make himself sick so he can escape going through this whole interview or interrogation, right? It buys him more time, right? And so he's trying to play that he's really sick. He's too sick to go to court. He's too sick to go to trial. There's something wrong with him. That's all tactic. He's doing everything in his power to make himself sick right now because he knows that they need a confession for him. And that's why the first thing he did was to say that he didn't do anything because he didn't want to confess to it. Even with all the information, even with the simple fact that they have video of Tori, the beautiful young little girl that he did that horrible, horrible thing to. And that, not Tori, that's not the little girl name. Tori is the Eveline chick that lured that girl to him. But the little girl as well, they were all found on video getting into his car. They were all found heading to Walmart, whether it was to get food or give her ice cream, something that would calm her down as into why she's with two strangers in a vehicle, and also going towards his house. So all of this is just all tactic. He's trying to make himself sick, guys. Believe me, he's trying to make himself sick.
Parking ticket, okay? This is reality, okay? And people are, I've already told you, you know this. People assume the worst until they know the truth, okay? And people are going to assume the worst of you unless you and I sit here and clarify it. Okay, something's pushed you to do this. Okay, you can't just fly under the radar your entire life. Okay, Mike, it doesn't happen. It's not realistic. Okay? I'm not going to sit and tell you that it happens. Something brings this on. And when you sit and talk to someone who had a troubled life like Michael Briere and just gets pushed into doing this and panics and thinks, what would it be like to take a kid and touch and rub a kid and then wish you could stop? Okay, and people can't, and that's the whole issue here. All right.
The detective seems to be almost rambling here, but this is a common strategy used to keep the suspect's mind racing. When Rafferty is concentrating on what the detective is saying, it doesn't give him a chance to conjure up his own thoughts, making it very hard for him to either think up a lie or disassociate from the situation altogether. It's a methodical process of breaking a suspect down through mental exhaustion and slowly chipping away at his psychological stamina piece by piece.
Absolutely. That is a tactic. And you know what's so funny? So many regular, smegular human beings use that tactic too. Have you ever been in a conversation or a debate with someone and you was about to make your point and someone interrupts you? Or they start saying their a little comment or phrase while you were saying something and they continue to go on. And the next minute you like, dang, I lost my train of thought. That is the same tactic because while you was thinking about how you was going to state whatever statement you was going to say, here they are now activating your hearing of what they have to say. And then you are now thinking about what you need to say to counteract what they just said, right? Which made you forget everything that you was going to say or state prior to before. It's the same tactic.
We can't control every emotion. All right, we can't control some of our urges, some of our thoughts. None of us can, okay? And I can't look you in the face and say I haven't made a mistake or made a bad decision in life, because I have. But the reality of it is, you and I have to accept that and move on, okay? Because I can walk out there and never see you again. Like, I can do that, right? My job here is done. The job here is done, as you'll find out tomorrow, as things start to be released. There is no more questions. There is no more long, drawn-out investigations. They're already sending people home to spend time with their families, okay? They're scaling back what's happened because it's been cleared and they know what's happened and the pieces of evidence have been gathered. So that's reality. I can't downplay that. But you and I need to walk out of here together, okay, with what happened here. You and I have to sit and say, this is what pushed Mike over the top. This is what pushed Mike to get involved in something like this. Because if we don't, then you sit here on your own and you have to take it. Okay, and is that necessarily fair? All right.
I have to sit here on my own anyways and take this.
To an extent you do, yes. You have to sit there and decide, am I going to get rid of this and get this off my chest so people understand my side, or am I going to sit there curled up and keep it in for the rest of my life? All right? You need to be realistic about this, okay? You have no battle plan to deal with this, right? It's happened, it's spun out of control, and you're thinking, okay, if I ever get caught for it, what am I going to do? Well, your plan isn't going to work, okay, because you're not built for this shit. This isn't what you're about, okay? You're not some sick bastard, right, that sits there and gets enjoyment out of hurting people, all right? So now you have to live with this, okay? And to live with it, one of the first ways, right, is like if someone's an alcoholic, what's the first thing they have to do? Acknowledge they got the issue, all right? You have an issue here in that there's overwhelming evidence, compelling evidence that indicates you're involved in what's happened to Tori, okay? And I can't change that and you can't change that at this stage. But you need to be honest and you need to understand your credibility, Mike, is all you have left. All you have left from here on in is your credibility. And you sitting here saying nothing doesn't do you a bit of good because no one's going to know. And then all of a sudden, 10 years from now or 5 years from now, you decide to say something, who's going to listen? Nobody, okay? This is your chance to say your piece, all right? Like I say, if you want, and you can see probably I'm trying not to out of respect actually for you, but I can sit and get as graphic as I want, okay? Because none of this stuff bothers me because I've seen it hundreds of times, okay? But if I sit and go over what's happened here with Tori, you may not be real happy about it because it's going to cause you to relive all this crap, okay? And maybe you want to, because I can tell you I've sat with guys that wanted me to say it again so they could hear what they've accomplished. And I've had that, where they want me to say it 2 and 3 times because they get a rush out of that. I don't think that's you, okay? You're not some sick guy, okay? I'm not sitting across from Paul Bernardo, okay? I know that, and I know people that have sat across from him, okay? And I know 2 officers that have in different stages of their lives, okay? And I know what he's all about. You're not that guy, all right? But at the same time, you can't just sit here and say, well, I hope this all goes away, right? This isn't like a list your girlfriend gives you to say, here's a list of things to do. Can you go pick up a few things at the grocery store for me and get some gas? This isn't what that is, okay? This is a lot more serious than a to-do list. We need to deal with reality. And the reality of it is your credibility is all you have left at this point. If you sit there and say nothing, everybody's going to assume the worst, okay? And you may be painted with a picture that you're not real happy with, okay? And I'm the only one that feels like sitting in here with you, right? There's no investigators lined up in here sitting with you. Why do you think that is? Right? Because they've been working at this for weeks, okay? They're tired and they've been away from their families and none of them want to come in here and talk to you, okay? I have no issue with it. I'm neutral. I don't have these issues. I haven't been away from my family. I don't mind talking to you. Like, I've talked to people that have been involved in things far worse than what they're saying you did here. Far worse, okay? And I can sit and list the things that I've been involved in. There are people who have done things that have been a threat to our national security, terrorism in Canada, where I've dealt with people that have been involved in murdering more than 3 people, all right? I've been involved with people who have abducted and taken the life of children. I've been involved in that. I've dealt with many people who are sex offenders that habitually and repeatedly touch and molest children. I've dealt with that. That stuff doesn't bother me, okay? But what's going on here is that you're just in there, you're just a big bundle of nerves, and you don't know what to do. You don't know whether to sit here, shake, shit, puke, you don't know what to do. But the reality of it is, at the end of the day, the evidence is the evidence, okay? And the evidence clearly shows you're responsible for the abduction of Tori, okay? And I also know that she's no longer with us, okay? And you're responsible for that too, okay? And there's a sexual component to this as well. So you might want to sit and get this off your chest and go through your side with me, all right? Because if I just walk away, at minimum, that's what people are going to.
So Vibe says the detective is doing real manipulation. I wouldn't call it manipulation. I will call it tactic. And we pointed out one of the things that he's doing, right? Not giving Michael the chance to create some elaborate story outside of the truth, right? And also he's doing it. You know how you get tired when people talk too much? You know how sometimes when the trolls come in here and they want to hear more of the actual video than me do commentary on it, and they like, play the video, right? That's what he's doing. He's talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, and he's saying the same thing, but he's saying it literally 20 different times, and he's been doing it for 28 minutes straight. After a while, people will be like, listen, I might have to say something just to break up you being able to speak 30 minutes straight without even taking a break, without sipping on your coffee. You know, ain't your mouth dry? Do you not have dry mouth? You don't got saliva coming out your mouth because your tongue been moving consistently. So that's another tactic that he's doing. Yeah. Let's go on.
At minimum. But you have some explaining to do. Okay, that's reality. I can't change that. Okay? If this is something that got out of control, that you just planned on taking her and you thought you were going to put her back, or just take her for a ride, that's fine. It got out of hand, then we need to talk about that, okay? You need to sit and explain that and say why, okay? If not, then I say people think the worst until they know. There is no other way. You don't have any other options. There's nothing else that you can do to change what's happened to her. We can't turn back time. However, we can explain how things got off the rails, whether it was something that happened slowly or just went right off the rails right from the beginning. Why do you think the OPP has a behavioral sciences section? This is all the stuff that we deal with, okay? We deal with occurrences that are unusual. We deal with situations that aren't regular situations, and that's not what this is. This isn't a regular situation. This is a couple of people that made a series of decisions that hopefully they understand aren't quite right and that they feel bad about. I don't think that you're some kind of monster. If I did, you'll find me pretty candid. You'll find that I'll come right up and tell you, Mike, okay? I don't think that, okay? I think this got out of control. I think it got out of hand, okay? Are you some kind of monster? Or did you make a mistake here? You made a mistake, right? This is a mistake, right, Mike? You'd take it back if you could? This is a mistake, right, Mike? You'd take it back? If you could turn back the hands of time, Mike, would you do this a little bit different? Mike, I'm talking to you. If you could turn back the hands of time, you're not some monster. You made a mistake, right? You'd take this back if you could? This is a mistake, Mike. You need to deal with this.
I am no monster.
I know
but
you're
I
not
did
a monster.
not do what you think I did.
I know you did. We're past that, okay?
No.
We're past that, Mike, okay?
Mm-mm.
I know you're not a monster. If you did, if I thought you're a monster, I would tell you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't just walk out. I would spend some time with you. If I thought you're a monster, just because I want to see what makes you tick. But you're not a monster, all right? This thing has consumed you. Look at you, right? You can barely eat or drink. You haven't touched your donut, right? Why is that? Because your guts are eating yourself up inside, okay? You can't sit and say that you're innocent and did all. What's the first thing you did when you got in here? You just laid down and curled up, right? It's all over. You know it's over, okay? You know it's done, okay? You don't have to be an expert in body language. All you've done is lay around in the fetal position since you've been here. That's not how innocent people act. That's not how people that are falsely accused of something act. It's the last thing they do.
Possibly that it's freezing. I haven't eaten since noon. It couldn't be that this is all just a huge shock to me. No, it couldn't have been any of that at all.
It's probably all of that. But it's also the fact that you're involved in it. It's probably all of that, Mike, okay? The fact that maybe you haven't eaten that much and maybe you are cold, there's no question. The first thing you said to me was you're cold and hungry. So that's why I grabbed you that stuff, okay? And I'm willing to accept that. Maybe that is part of the issue, okay? But there is a larger issue here, okay? And it's the issue of the evidence and the issue that you're involved in this, okay? And we can't change that. I have no ill will, anger towards you.
You notice that the only time Michael is reacting to the tactics or the interrogation is when he keeps on iterating that, listen, we have everything, we have all the evidence. There is no oopsie, there is no, oh, this is not you, we got the wrong guy. That's the only time he's able to express himself. And he keeps on reverting back to, oh, well, I didn't eat anything, and maybe that's the reason why I'm acting this way, and maybe that I'm in shock and all the stuff like that. Sir, he bought you a donut and a coffee. You not eating is not his fault. He bought you something to snack on. You refuse to eat because you're trying to make yourself sick. And one of the quickest ways you can make yourself sick is, denying yourself food if you haven't ate in hours, right? Your stomach start hurting, you start curling and stuff like that. But that's the only time that he was able to actually get him to respond is when he's like, listen, cut it out. Listen, we're past that. When he keeps on saying we're past this, it wasn't me and I had nothing to do with it, or I'm not what you think I am, or I didn't do what you think I did. That's the only time he gets a reaction out of him. Let's go on.
I have none. You don't make me mad. You don't upset me, nothing like that, okay? The only issue I have is I don't fully understand. I volunteered here to come here and shoot the show with you because I've talked to people in worse situations than you, okay? And like I say, you've been pretty respectful with me. You're not giving me a hard time. You're not being rude to me. So I'll sit with you because, but you know, the reality of it is I can walk away and you're going to sit and deal with this on your own for the rest of your life. You're a smart guy. You're nobody's fool. You know the situation. You know you're in a tough spot. And again, this is your opportunity to say your piece. But you got some pretty serious explaining to do here, okay? In the big picture. Now, without me, if I just leave you here, you got some stuff that you need to explain. I've acknowledged already what my thoughts are of you, okay? I told you that from the beginning, that this is out of character.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay? Maybe
that's definitely a part of it.
Maybe that's why you don't want to talk. Because maybe you're thinking, you know what, Chris, you're wrong. You know, maybe I've done this before. Maybe I plan on doing it again, all right? I don't think that. But I mean, you could be sitting here playing me, right? How the hell would I know, okay? I can tell you that I don't think that's the case because I've sat across from a lot of people, again, that have been through stuff a lot worse than you. You made a mistake, man. Deal with it and we move on. I am concerned that you're just going to sit here and, oh, well, I'm going to take a chance. Maybe I'll just leave it and it'll all work itself out. Well past that, Mike. This is not going to work itself out, okay? We're past that. You need to acknowledge what's caused you to do this. And I never said for a second that you went and took that kid from the school, because you didn't. But that kid was taken from that school, all right, by Terry and put in your car, okay? And you were there, and you were part of when the kid was driven to Guelph, okay, in the Home Depot. And then from there, the kid, into the demise of the kid. But this is the stuff we need to explain. Nobody can control your destiny now but you, okay? I can. I mean, I've already told you. I've already put my cards on the table. This is your chance, man. Do you not think you're going to feel better getting some of this off your chest as opposed to keeping it there forever? You know what I mean? I'll sit with you and do this. There's no issues with it at all. Like I say, I have no problem sitting with you, man. Why don't we just find a starting point and we'll do it? Because you're going to sit and stew forever. Sitting, oh, I should have said this or shouldn't I have said that, right?
He's banking on the detective getting tired. That's why he's still fighting, you know, not having the conversation with him. He's banking on the detective getting tired, or he's suspecting that the detective is going to use the tactic saying, all right, you know what, you're going to rot in prison and I'm going to let you sit here and think about you know, everything, and I'll come back, and then wait like 30, 45 minutes and then come back, right? That's what he thinks this is going to happen. He doesn't know that the type of detective that he's dealing with a veteran detective who is a SME in behavioral, right? So it's different. It's totally different.
It's up to you. I mean, I've got situations where I wish I'd have told somebody something that I didn't, and I regretted it my whole life. Okay, and it's situations with family members where you should have said your piece or you should have kept your mouth shut. But we all have those experiences. But this is your chance to say your piece. All right? And I think you and I should take that chance. I think you and I should just sit and have that discussion. How is it going to get worse? Right? It can't. And obviously, to an extent, someone's put you in this position, right? And we need to deal with that.
You want me to tell you things I didn't do so I can get locked up for the rest of my life for this?
No, that's not. No, I don't want you to tell me things you did not do. No, I'm going to ask you a question. What's your biggest fear or your biggest concern now that you've been charged with this? What's your biggest concern here?
Losing my life.
Okay. All right.
I want to know what this girl Terry said.
Okay. She acknowledges that she grabbed Tori and brought her to your car, that it was your wishes, that you sent her there with certain things that you were looking for in a victim, and she took her. And you guys drove on the highway and did the Home Depot thing, which I talked about, left the Home Depot, went to a secluded area. You had sexual relations with Tori, and Tori was killed. This is your time, man. This is as good as it gets, unfortunately. All right, this is it. And I mean, I can get into more detail if you want, but in a nutshell, that's a polite way of saying what the allegations are. But if there's stuff, if there's other people here. What's happening, man?
What's this process? What happens?
What happens next? After you and I are done talking, you go back to your cells. Tomorrow morning, you'll have what's called you'll be brought into court, and the charges will be read to you again, and there'll be a discussion if you get out of custody for bail, and then they may schedule a bail hearing to determine that. And then from there, it's a matter of where it goes from the courts. The investigation will go on for a little while yet. There's a couple things that, as I told you, there need to be done. And then in the big picture, you're facing these charges. The reality of it is we can just sit and deal with the issue here, just as easy.
I'd rather deal with this issue in court.
The suspect remains unyielding after 95 minutes of psychological pressure, so the investigators commence the next stage of the interrogation. They initiate the Mutt and Jeff technique, most commonly known in pop culture as good cop, bad cop.
Hey, Seth, how are you? Time for a sec? I understand, Mike here.
So he didn't break down with the eagle up approach. So now they're about to do the good guy, bad cop. That might work. You know, having someone put the fear of God in his chest. But the thing about it is, I mean, I understand why he doesn't want to confess, right? You know, but if that was the case, you should have had ended the whole interrogation from the beginning. You should have said, I need to speak to my lawyer. And this would have been a done deal. You would not have had gone through 90 minutes of this, right? 90 minutes of this. But I want y'all to understand that he also told on himself a little bit without even saying it a confession. Because when he told him what Tori told him, did he deny it? Not once said he not once did he say that itch is an effing liar. She's an effing liar. I never did anything like that. He didn't say that once. Normally, people who are innocent, they will be quick to be like, no, that's not true. I didn't do that. And she's lying. You just sat there and started shivering, fake shivering again, that you're so hurt and all the stuff like that. You never denied that what that woman said was the truth or not. Let's go on.
I wanted to see what Terry Lynn had to say. Mike, Terry Lynn's still speaking to my partner, okay? This is a girl you killed, all right? She's not missing anymore. She's dead. Terry Lynn was asked today if she wanted to call a lawyer 4 times. She said no, all 4 times. She went through 2 boxes of Kleenex. All right? She says on the 8th of April, Wednesday the 8th of April, 2009, at 3:30 in the afternoon, you drop her off at Pavey, south of Fife, south of the public school, where Tori walks out of. You tell her to get a girl, and you want her young. She walks up the street, you drive up to the old age home where you park your car. She walks up to Tori. Tori's nice to her. She trusts her. She holds her hand for a little bit.
Right, you're right.
She walks
Dawn.
up
My
the street with her.
apologies. Yes, Tori is the
Terry Lynn
person's
tells her
baby.
about her little dog.
I forgot
gets
what
her
that
across the street to your car.
ugly devil
Opens
woman
the back
name
door.
is. Sorry.
Tori doesn't like it anymore. She pushes her in the car. You start driving. She says she's freaking out. She says she's worried about you. She's scared about what you're going to do. She says you guys hit the 401. You start driving to Guelph. You park outside a house. You go in for a little while. You come out with some drugs, she thinks. Then you drive to the Home Depot. You park at the end of the parking lot. You tell her it's her turn to get out of the car. You tell her to go in there. You give her some cash because you don't want to use your debit card so you don't track it. She goes in there, she gets garbage bags like she's told to do, and she comes back out. Then you go driving, and you pull into a farmer's field, right across from a house, to the point where you're even asking her if anybody can see you.
Yeah, that is true. That's definitely
And what does she
true,
do?
Dana. That's definitely true.
She says she goes for a walk because she doesn't want to see what happens. And then she goes back, and you're not sitting in the front seat anymore, Mike. You're sitting in the back seat. And she's not liking what she sees, so she walks away again. Then she comes back, and you make her hold one of those garbage bags while you put some of your clothes and her jacket and a hammer in the garbage bag. Then you drive to a gas station. She never sees Tori again. You drive to that gas station, you get out, you wash up, you dump the bag. You drive back to Woodstock. That's Terry Lynn's story, Mike. That's Terry Lynn's story while she bawls her eyes out through 2 boxes of Kleenex. And I ask her 4 times, hey, you want to call a lawyer? She says, I don't need to call a lawyer. I feel so bad about what happened. I just want to tell you all about it. That's what you're up against.
Terry Lynn's a liar.
Well, you're the only person that can tell us that, bud.
I just did.
You gotta be careful, though, Mike, because some of the shit she said is backed by not just video but other evidence, but also some of the explanations that she gave as well are verified. And that's a little more graphic than I said it, but yeah, there is some stuff that she says that is true. There's no question. I'm not gonna say it's not. But
How old are you, Mike? 28 years old? You want to tell us your side of the story? Get rid of your fucking security blanket and start being a man. Because it's not going to be her semen that we find on her body. When we look at the areas underneath the parts of the seat that you cut out, we're going to find her blood. Do you know how blood works? Do you know about red blood cells, white blood cells? White blood cells are thinner. They look like spit when they're separated from red blood cells. They're the ones that seep through into the foam. That's what we get the DNA from. Skin cells from her rubbing up and down against your seats in your car. Tori Stafford is all over your car. All over it. And Terry Lynn explains everything that she knows we're going to find. You're explaining nothing. So I don't give a fuck if you say one more word.
I prefer the bad cop more than the good cop. I'm just saying because they're more blunt with it, and I respect and appreciate people who are blunt and who is with the shits, right? But Shelly, this is a man named Michael Rafferty. He raped and unalived a 8-year-old girl. He had an accomplice named Tara Lynn. She helped lure the little girl where he was able to do that for her. But yeah, I'm enjoying the bad cop approach where he's like, listen, I don't even care. Like whether you want to say anything or not, we got everything we need. So I don't care about your damn feelings. I don't care about your stale ass donut, and I don't care about your cold ass coffee. And you sitting there with your legs crossed under that blanket and looking down with your hand on the side of your head is not going to change the fact for exactly everything that you did. But let's go on.
Tell you the truth.
All right, we're done then.
Well, I'm done with you anyway.
Okay.
This officer here is trying to understand what the hell you're going through. I don't care.
Who are you?
I'm the lead investigator here.
Okay.
Okay?
Terry Lynn's full of shit.
Well, that's going to be a funny thing for you to say in court, isn't it? Because how's the DNA going to be full of shit, Mike? Huh? How's the biologist from the Center for Forensic Sciences going to be full of shit? How's the pathologist that examines her body going to be full of shit? Explain that to me.
I'll be careful, Mike. That's a dangerous road to go up. If there's something you and I can clarify with what she said, then let's clarify it. But we can't just sit here with a blanket statement that she's full of shit, because there is some things that's truthful. And then by you saying that makes it takes away your credibility. So we got to be very careful with that.
I'm done with him.
Yeah.
This officer's got his job to do, Mike. He's got a different job than I do. For my investigation, you keeping your mouth shut is the best thing can happen. So keep on keeping it shut.
Okay.
The theory behind good cop, bad cop is known as the fear, then relief response. It's believed that when the immediate shift from one emotion to the next is so extreme, a suspect can become disoriented, and their ability to think critically can be affected. This specific state of disorientation makes compliance more likely, as the rapid change of emotion can evoke the feeling of uncertainty, and a suspect's positive response to an oncoming request is a form of coping with this uncertainty. This is of course not a guaranteed system, and a suspect will not always respond in the desired manner.
Well, you know more than I told you anyway.
And also the video essayist left out with the good cop, bad cop approach. Because someone came in and changed the energy of the room, where you was in the manipulating role with the good cop thinking that he was naive and gullible, when he really wasn't. He was just literally reading you and allowing you to play the part. When the more aggressive, forceful, present energy comes into the room and started slamming your face, you want to now feel like you're in control of the situation again, right? So where did you feel like you was in control? When you thought that you was buttering up the good cop. So it would make you most likely start to open up again to the good cop, because you don't want to feel that aggressive energy anymore. So you'll be like, oh, I don't want to talk to you. You're mean to me. You disrespected me. I feel uncomfortable with you. I want to talk with him. Me and him was getting somewhere. Even though we just saw for 95 minutes, it wasn't going anywhere. You wasn't talking to the good cop. But now that different energy, now you would be like, no, I want to deal with the guy that I was speaking to for 95 minutes. Let's go on.
It wasn't quite as eloquent as I would have put it, but anyways, at the same time, what he's saying is right. Like, I did watch what she was saying, and she was very emotional. There's no question. And she did go through Kleenex. There's no question of that. And she was upset. And there's stuff that she said that, I mean, was clearly known ahead of time by the investigators, and there's stuff that was said that by her saying it later proved out to be confirmed other ways. So don't, no, I can't say don't, you can do whatever the hell you want, but just be careful going up that road. Anyways, but if, like I say, I have no issues.
That probably was
that
me.
doesn't change my opinion on our discussion, to be quite honest. I mean, they got their opinions, and obviously they're getting sick of listening to me, so they've come in and said their piece. But like I say, I've got no, I'm not pissed with you, so I'm not, but like I say, this is your chance. This is your chance to say your piece. And I'm sitting here willing to listen to it.
Well, he just told me not to say anything more, so.
Well, that's up to you. You don't say anything to him.
That's what he said, though.
He doesn't want you to talk to him, but that's fine. I'm still interested in listening to you. Do you want to talk about the part of the school where she's grabbed? We can discuss that and see what your thoughts are there.
I'm not saying anymore.
Why?
Because of the officer, because of what the lawyer said. Now it's everything. I just don't.
What do you think is going to happen next?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Someone runs in here and starts barking. You just want me to say whatever. You just want me to say things. So it's open and closed.
No.
So it's over and done with. That's it. This is how it is. Nothing more to talk about.
No, actually, because actually that's fair. That's a very fair statement, actually. But I got to tell you, in this case, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm compelled and I'm interested to listen to what you have to say. But does it open and shut this case? No.
I'm done.
Why?
I'm not talking anymore.
How come?
I've already told you why.
Just because of all the different angles and all that?
I just don't feel comfortable talking about it.
Oh, thank you, Bruce. I truly appreciate you, and thank you for stopping by. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening too.
So you're prepared then
It's
to just
okay.
leave
It
it
comes
like
with
this?
the job, Bruce. It comes with the
Come here,
job.
write it out from
I
here,
work
see where it goes.
24/7. Take care.
You think that's the best way to do it?
I don't know. I've never been in this chair before. I don't know.
Any questions of me?
No.
Need something to eat?
Yeah, but you don't care if I need something to eat.
Why would you say that?
Because you don't.
I wouldn't ask if I didn't care.
You're here for your job.
Nope. I could have walked out. I don't have to ask you because you got it going right here, right? But the reality of it is,
It's what kills me is he's still trying to manipulate the detective. He's still trying to manipulate the good cop because he has a issue with he has to be in control. And I know that the good cop he now he reads him like a book. The boy this guy has to be in control. And it's now is, oh, you don't care about me. I know you're just doing your job. You just want me to say anything. And now after with that bad cop guy came in there, he's still coming with this, oh, woe is me type of situation. Is no woe is you when you unalive and grape a 8-year-old girl and you solicit a woman to help lure her. There's no woe is me. That woe is me goes out the window, you know? Like, but that's what he's doing. He needs to, for him to feel comfortable, he needs to feel like he is in control of the situation again. And this is why he keeps on trying to manipulate him and trying to use the victim type of situation. It's really sickening. It's getting really sickening at this point, because obviously you're not getting out of here. They both told you you're not getting out of here. They both said that whatever you tell them is just for them to understand your psyche. And also, if you felt that you wanted to try it out, like you was watching child pornography for years illegally because you're not supposed to, but you was watching child porn for years, and you wanted to finally actually act on it in real life, and you did. You got scared, and that's why you unlied they gave him that opportunity where he can get the chance to explain himself, but he won't take it because he still thinks that he's smarter than the average bear. It's just quite annoying at this point. He's literally got his legs freaking closed. He got his arm crossed, his legs crossed, and his legs sitting up in the seat like you're a damn toddler. You're literally have the stance of a 5-year-old. Though you think that you can morph into that 8-year-old girl that you took her life and her innocence. No, you don't get to revert back into being a child. There's nothing childlike what you did. Let's go on.
I know that you're going to go back and sit and sleep or do whatever for a while, and you'd be better to do it on a full stomach. That's all it is to it, man. But I don't have to ask you if you want food, but I am prepared to get you food.
So I can eat, and then you can say, "Oh, look, he had an appetite. This is how he must have been feeling. Oh, he drank his tea. This is how he must be feeling." Forget the fact he's just starving.
Thank you.
No, you're reading too much into it, man. No, that's not what it is at all. I offer you something to eat because I thought if you're hungry, you can eat it. I don't care if you eat it or not, right? I mean, it's up to you. It doesn't matter to me if you eat or you don't eat.
And that doesn't go anywhere in any of your reports.
What's that?
That I ate or not ate.
No, because it's on the video. It doesn't matter if you eat or not. I don't have to write any report. My report doesn't say if you ate or not. My report says what we talked about.
This is a very intriguing moment
I'm
of the
glad that it's
interrogation,
back,
as
Shelley.
the suspect's state of mind seems to be in two places at once. He is undoubtedly clinging on to hope, made evident by his outright refusal to admit involvement, yet he still has situational awareness. He knows deep down that his act isn't being bought, giving reason for his guilt in requesting food. He would have been starving at this moment, yet his primary concern was how he would be perceived while eating. He is caught between wanting to satisfy his hunger and trying to appear so guilt-ridden by the circumstances that he doesn't even care about his hunger.
No, like I say, it's your appetite at this point doesn't matter, really. I come in here, I sat to explain to you what the evidence was, had a discussion. Actually, I don't think there's any animosity between us. So we had a discussion about what the case facts are, and that was it. So it doesn't matter to me if you.
I think if the bad cop comes in, he might.
If you want something
He might do that by.
Issues that way. But you read too much into it, man. Do you want something to eat?
I need something to eat, yes.
Alright. I'll get you something to eat. Look at me. Take it easy.
In reality, no food was coming. The suspect had it right when he stated that the investigator didn't care about his hunger, and he wasn't about to go out of his way to get a takeaway meal for a child killer. The Mutt and Jeff technique, although very well executed, was unsuccessful on this occasion.
Hey, Mike. I'm a pretty get down to the facts kind of guy. I'm sure you've realized that from our brief encounter earlier, all right? This is not rocket science. I've got what Terry Lynn has told me.
Lord
this afternoon,
Marcus.
and I've got you. This is your opportunity. Terry Lynn's sitting right here. Tell us she's a liar.
So this is a really good freaking approach right now. This is as direct as you can possibly get. They brought his accomplice into his interrogation room, and bad cop said, "Now tell me she's a liar," in her face. Shorty is already done. She knows it's a wrap. She's already in her jail uniform, got her hair braided back. She's looking at him like, yo, you know, it's funny because he won't even look at her. He will not even look at her because he knows that she's not lying. But bad cop is doing his thing right now. Go ahead, tell Tara Lynn that she lying to her face. That was a real bold move right there. I love it. I love it. Let's go on.
You've had no problem at saying without her in the room.
Terry's a liar.
Yeah, that's what you're hoping.
I'm not even looking at her.
I don't need to look at her.
You haven't been looking at anyone.
I don't need to look at anyone.
See, Mike, I know I was right when I walked in here, okay? And I'm not gonna pull any punches here, okay? I'm not gonna try and kiss your ass, all right?
Detective Smith's behavior in the following moments is not associated with any techniques nor strategies. He knows the suspect's inclination is virtually set and unlikely to be influenced any further from this point onward. The following onslaught doesn't have any tactical purposes related to the investigation. The detective has understandably become emotionally invested in the case and proceeds to give the prime suspect the psychological grilling he deserves.
I mean, let's face it. I'm a cop, all right? And the last 5 weeks, I've been trying to find out who killed an 8-year-old girl. Okay? And I know the guys from behavioral sciences, they got their thing. They're trying to understand why. That's what they do.
You guys all work together.
Yeah, we do. They're good people. They know their job very well. And sure as hell, I'd like to know why. All right? I'd like to think that we don't have people walking around our communities who just because they're bored on an afternoon say, hey, Why don't we grab that girl and rape and murder her? Okay. I'd like to think that we live in a community where people think a little bit more about what they're going to do than that. Do you think you're coming off as an innocent guy? Do you think you're looking like somebody who's been wrongfully accused here?
You're going to see it however you want to see it. My lawyer, or the lawyer, instructed me to just say...
Yeah, I know, Mike. I know what your lawyer instructed you to say. But that doesn't make you an innocent man. That makes you a man who's saying, holy fuck, what am I going to do now?
Nothing I do is going to change your opinion. So I might as well just follow the lawyer's advice.
Well, you're right there, Mike. Nothing you do is going to get you walking out of this police station tonight without being charged with murdering Tori Stafford. You're right.
Hello, Lori.
You know how much media coverage this has. You know what the newspapers are going to do with this and to your family tomorrow. Okay? You think the cops are going to be talking to everybody you ever spoke to in your life? That's nothing compared to what the media is going to be doing. This is a huge story for them. This is the next Paul Bernardo. Whether you like it or not, a girl and a guy kidnapping an 8-year-old girl and murdering her. That's one of the most sensational things that have happened in this province since Bernardo and Carla. It's going to be a frenzy, and you and I both know that. You know what a psychopath is, Mike?
I have never met one.
Well, I just met one tonight.
I just find it funny how you can go full sure on something when you don't know.
Well, Mike, once.
I like this bad cop. He said, I just met one today. He called this dude a psychopath to his face. Even though they explained before, his tactic that he's doing right now is not on script. This is not no form or tactic. He's literally going off script. That right now he's talking from his actual emotions and his feelings about this case. So you're going to hear a lot of cursing and I don't care about you, that type of energy coming from him. He's no longer in script right now. So don't take this as a tactic. He's just he's giving him a heart to heart of how he actually feel about this dude, this piece of crap right here.
Somebody tells me that they were present when a man killed an 8-year-old girl.
Somebody told you that.
Mm-hmm. She did.
Okay.
When that happens.
Thank you, Dana, so much. I appreciate you for stopping by.
Maybe after we go golfing for the week, we'll go and see Mike and see what he has to say. That's not the way it works.
No, so let's just pick him up and then say, yep, you did it. Because that's obviously got to be the right way to go about things.
Yeah.
And shout out to New York. I'm from New York too. Woo woo! New York in the house.
The last thing I cover off with everybody I talk to in situations like this, Mike, is pretty straightforward. Okay. Rodney Stafford and Tara McDonald have to be notified about this. Okay. First question out of their mouth is going to be, what? Did they say why they did it?
I'm sure one of those two will have the answer for you, why somebody would do it.
What are you getting at, Mike? What are you throwing out there for me, buddy?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're going to talk to them anyways.
You know what, Mike? If you're going to claim you have no involvement whatsoever, don't play games with me and throw out little hints and see what comes of it.
There's no game. There's no little hints.
There's nobody involved in this except for you and Terry Lynn.
Hey, Jersey in the house. What's going on? Redheaded stepchild.
we're done.
Is that what you said to Tori before you killed her? We're done?
Funny man.
Funny man. That's what you think this is funny man?
I think you're a funny man.
I think you're a cold-blooded killer. Because you and I haven't spent too much more time now than you forced Tori Stafford to spend in your car. You could have let her out anywhere along that route.
Hey, shout out to New Zealand.
You could have killed her without sexually assaulting her. And that's what I wanted to sit across from tonight. See what it's like to sit across from a guy who, when he abducts an 8-year-old girl, is so turned on by it that before he kills her, he has to have sex with her. So if you ask me why I'm sitting in this room, I'm sitting in this room for Tori. Making you squirm, putting you through some of the grief that you put her through.
I knew you was from somewhere from Tennessee or somewhere around those areas, Bruce. Your accent. I learned that when I went to your channel. Shout out to Tennessee.
8 years old, Mike. 8 years old, buddy. All she wanted to do was go home, have a little party for her friends because her mom just redecorated her room for her. That's pure evil, bud. And that's exactly what the judge is going to see. That's what you are. No remorse, no empathy, no nothing. You're just hollow. The nice thing about the place you're going to be spending a good chunk of your life is they actually have glass cells. So you and Bernardo can make googly eyes at each other all day, whatever you guys do in there. So it's nice meeting you, Mikey. Enjoy the rest of your life. This is the kind of room you're going to be spending it in.
And it was all for this little girl right here. Not just Tori, but for every little child in Canada that doesn't deserve what happened to her.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. 31-year-old Michael Rafferty has been found guilty of murdering, kidnapping, and sexually assaulting 8-year-old Tori Stafford. It's been nearly 10 very long weeks of trial in London, which is where Laura Zilke has been covering this story since the very beginning.
In the courtroom, when the verdict was read out, there was a collective sigh of yes for each time one of those guilty verdicts was read out through friends and family. That came with the reading of each verdict. Guilty of first degree, guilty of abduction, and guilty of sexual assault. Lawyers from both sides of the story came out to speak with us as well. Their reaction, everyone appreciating that justice was done here, and every one of them also thanking the work that the jury had to do for having to sit through this case for, as you mentioned, Carolyn, almost 10 weeks.
It's been a long and difficult trial for everybody. The trial is finally over, so that's a good thing. But the verdict means that the jury has found that Michael Rafferty did kidnap, sexually assault, and murder Victoria Stafford, and our thoughts are with Victoria's family.
Is it a hard decision for you to take cases like this?
It's never easy, but honestly, I mean, somebody has to take them. I get asked that question more often than almost anything else. How can you do a case like this? How can you defend such a person? The reality of it is that everybody in our system deserves a strong, proper, and effective defense.
Even before going into the courtroom, there was really a sense of excitement. I think a lot of the family thought that because the verdict did come so quickly, just over a day of deliberations, they truly believed that this was going to be a guilty verdict. Then going into the courtroom, that simply continued. The relief that went over this, it was really almost unbelievable to hear the sighs that went through everyone in that courtroom. Carolyn.
Both Michael Rafferty and Terry Lynn McClintock were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for 25 years.
So that case was very disturbing. Prayers to that woman, that young baby, not woman. Prayers to her family and that young little girl who lost her life to a monster and actually two monsters, right? Because if that woman didn't help him, then it could be a possibility that she would still be alive today, right? And it's just sad now that you have to teach your children that villains don't only just come in gender, color, height, weight, or whatever not. You have to let them know that you can find a monster in any shape, form, color, whatever, you name it, gender, whatever, right? And to be weary of that. Don't go with no one that you don't know. If you don't know them, don't go with them, don't talk to them, nothing. You know what I'm saying? This situation was really sad, but I'm glad that we actually got to see a real interesting and very detailed interrogation, right? And we got to see how the suspect, how they are participating in playing in the mind trick games with the detectives, especially the ones who think that they're smarter than the detectives, right? And like I truly believe that that wasn't his first victim. I believe that he did this before. I believe that he's been able to get away with it numerous of times, but this time he wasn't able to get away with it, especially the girl broke down easily, and that really hurt her heart, right? Like, even though she's an ain't shit individual for what she did, you can see that she was remorseful for what she did, right? He had no remorse. 3 hours in, and he still was denying the fact that he had all this evidence laid out laid out on the table for him that he was involved, he did, and what he did. They even brung in the accomplice, and he couldn't even look her in her face. He had to look literally the other direction, but then saying, "Oh, she's a liar." No, you know she's not lying. You know she's not lying. That's why you couldn't look her in the face. You had no remorse. You did not care. You only cared about yourself. You only cared about yourself. That's why you kept on talking about what you was doing, how you was feeling. Oh, my life is going to be over, and I didn't do nothing. Acting like a little child. You was acting like you were 5 years old. You was acting like you were 8 years old. Then in the beginning, you was acting scared, like you was the little girl who life you took. Despicable human being, man. Despicable human being. They should have got more. I mean, I don't know if Canada have the death penalty, but that seemed kind of like in the position that it needed to be. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would have preferred that. I'm not gonna even hold you. I would have preferred that, because what they did was horrible and what they did was cruel, and it was so unfair for that little girl, so unfair for that family, so unfair for that community, for these two did. Oh my God. Let's see. Is that Zero? Hey Zero, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope everything is well. Hope everything's well. Good. Thank you for coming, Corner Boy. Haven't seen you in a bit. Bruce said, and I don't believe he was blonde hair. Yeah. Justice served, Miss Jalen. Yeah. She said, don't get it. Life for 25 years. Well, it's 25 years to life. That's how they word it. It's 25 years to life. They ain't getting out. They don't even have possibility of parole, so don't even worry about that. Let's see. Hi, Nicola. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope everything goes well with you. Let's see. Yeah. Well, let's hope he don't. I hope they keep him in there. You know what's so funny? Because the parents, they have to go back to, like, when it hits his 25-year mark, they can go back to the courts and they can petition for him to continue to stay in jail due to whatever reason, fear or whatever. They could do that. They could do that. I hope so, because this is Canada. I'm not too I guess informed about how Canada does their judicial system, but I'm hoping that they have that. No, it's not. But hi, good to see you. That's a flower. You know, I don't know, sugar, but good to see you. Let's see. It's good, Marty. Thank you so much for coming. I hope to have you back. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Truly appreciate you. Shout out to New Zealand. And let's see. Okay. Hey, oh, how you doing, Michelle? Good to see you. Oh, ma'am, you just caught me at my end. I just finished. I went through 3 cases today, and you caught me at the end. But I hope you're having a great weekend. I hope you're having a great weekend, Michelle. Thank you so much for stopping by. Truly appreciate it. So, guys, that's all I have for you today. I'm going to have to start to get ready to go to work. It is what it is. Please make sure you're hitting the like button for me when you're heading out. I will be live on Monday. So I'll be coming back Monday with 3 more cases. And hopefully I can go over that case in regards of the Indian woman who was out there vacationing in Dominican Republic and she's missing. I hope I can go over that case with some newfound information. But I do truly, truly appreciate every last one of you. Thank you so much for being supportive and conversating and conversing in the chat in regards of these cases. And I will see you on Monday or see you on the next one. But I should be live on Monday. I should definitely be live on Monday. But I got to make sure that I have it at the right time so you good folks can catch me and reach me, right? But I will see y'all soon. Have a good night, everyone. Love y'all. Take care. Bye-bye.